Chapter 668. To retreat in order to advance. The white-robed man's words made Yi Zichen realize that things weren't as simple as they seemed. Before the white-robed man could say anything, Fatty Yin grinned and said, "You're right, you're right, you're right. Do you think that with him around, he would cause internal strife in the three realms?" Then, Yi Zichen hesitated for a moment. From what he saw in the group chat, it was clear that they had started fighting. Otherwise, the Jade Emperor wouldn't have gathered the four great emperors and asked Yang Jian and the others to attack the immortal region. Don't worry about this and that. Don't worry, with this hero here, the three realms won't be able to fight. Fatty Yin patted Yi Zichen's shoulder mysteriously with a smile. It's just that this brat is so busy. I've been running around with him until my legs are turning into jelly. What's going on? Can you tell me so that I can be at ease? Yi Zichen knitted his eyebrows. The white-robed man smiled. You'll understand when the time comes. All right, let's wait for this girl's divine descent to end. She might be able to give the demon realm a surprise. What the hell happened? The demon realm's Lord Black Dragon frowned as he looked at Su Yun and the others. His sharp senses told him that something had happened that he didn't know about. Su Yun remained silent. Qiu Hai was a great senior of the demon realm, and Black Dragon didn't dare to question him. Black Dragon looked at Gu Li, his expression dark as he questioned him. Gu Li, you speak. Lord Black Dragon, you really know how to make things difficult for others. Gu Li smiled, then glanced playfully at Su Yun and Qiu Hai. You just told me to find senior. As for anything else, I don't know anything. You don't want to say it? Black Dragon asked in a low voice. It's not that I don't dare to say it. I've always cherished my life. At times like this, it's better for me to remain silent. Otherwise, if I offend someone, what would I do if I lose my life? Gu Li smiled sinisterly. From his words, everyone could tell what he was implying. Aren't you afraid that I'll be displeased? As soon as Black Dragon finished speaking, an apologetic smile surfaced on Gu Li's face. Lord Black Dragon, I'll say something that you might not like to hear, but if it were you, I really wouldn't be worried. Although I'm just a nobody in the Devil Realm, you can't do anything to me. Gu Li, how dare you? One of the 12 demon sovereigns shouted angrily. Gu Li looked up at the demon sovereigns, then reached out to pick his ear. His gaze instantly turned sinister. Courting death. Dong. The person who had shouted suddenly fell in front of the hall without any warning. His chest was also scorched black. You really think so highly of yourself? Who do you think you are in my eyes? The demon sovereign's eyes were filled with shock. Gu Li smiled sinisterly, then hooked his arm around Su Yun's shoulder. What do you think of me? Su Yun smiled coldly. The other demon sovereigns all took a step forward. Gu Li looked at them with a frivolous gaze and smiled. Don't be so arrogant. What? You want to fight me here? Gu Li, that's enough, Su Yun said calmly. Hearing that, Gu Li shrugged. It's their fault for wanting to fight me. It's their fault for wanting to attack me. Master Su, you should be on my side. Actually, from a certain perspective, we are on the same side. I said that's enough. Su Yun could sense his impatience from his tone. Then, he bowed towards Lord Black Dragon. Lord Black Dragon, this subordinate asks for your forgiveness. The scene in front of him caused Black Dragon's heart to turn gloomy. The scene before him caused dark clouds to appear in Black Dragon's heart. He had always been a cautious person, so he was able to make many deductions from the slightest clues. Gu Li's resistance just now and his words caused Black Dragon to be wary of both him and Su Yun. What crime did Master Su commit? Black Dragon asked in confusion. I've been in the demon realm for so long, I've actually been hiding something from Lord Black Dragon. Although I'm a person of the demon realm, I still can't let go of my old friends. For example, the Yellow Emperor that you've always wanted to capture. Su Yun's words caused a huge commotion. Li Min-yi, who was among the demon sovereigns, opened her eyes wide in shock. Why would he say such a thing? Wasn't he courting death? Li Min Yi hurriedly ran to Su Yun's side and bowed apologetically to Black Dragon. Lord Black Dragon, Yun is a bit tired from studying formations. He's just spouting nonsense. Please don't mind him. Min Yi, don't try to defend me. Su Yun shook his head and grabbed Li Min Yi's arm. He pulled her to his side and looked at Black Dragon with bright eyes. Your Excellency Black Dragon, I, Su Yun, have never been a petty person. Yi Zichen is my brother. I can't possibly forget him. I can't deny that everything I did before was all an act. The insults and harms I did to him were all for the sake of protecting him. Master Su, do you know what you are saying? Black Dragon's gaze grew increasingly sinister, his tightly clenched fists creaking. I know what I'm saying, but Lord Black Dragon has always been nice to me. I don't want Lord Black Dragon to be kept in the dark. Actually, I ran into Yi Zichen again when I went to the Valley of Death with Senior Qiu Hai. Why is he here? Black Dragon was stunned. Yeah, why is he here? I didn't expect him to be there either, but Guli wanted Senior Qiu Hai to capture him. Yi Zichen is my close friend. I don't want him to get hurt, so I let him go. This is also what you want to know, Su Yun replied calmly. Su Yun replied calmly. Not a trace of emotion could be seen on his face. This is my disloyalty towards the demon realm. I, Su Yun, cannot deny it. Now I, Su Yun, have returned to put an end to all of this. If you still want to take me in, then I, Su Yun, will do my best to serve you. If you want to kill me, then just do it. With that, Su Yun lowered his guard, closed his eyes, and placed his hands by his sides. Li Min Yi's face was filled with undisguisable nervousness. The moment he said that, she also started to help him. Lord Black Dragon, Su Yun definitely doesn't have any intentions of betraying the demon realm. He's more sentimental, but isn't that what you admire about him? To everyone's surprise, it wasn't just Li Min Yi. The other demon sovereigns and higher-ups all tried to help Su Yun. Lord Su is of great use to the demon realm. Lord Black Dragon, please spare him this once in consideration of his previous achievements. However, their persuasion was useless. The final decision still lay in the hands of the Black Dragon. What they didn't know was that Guli, who was standing on the side, was about to laugh. He couldn't help but nod, then silently praised Su Yun in his heart. I was one step behind. I didn't expect Su Yun, who I never took seriously, to actually have such a trick up his sleeve. Chapter 669. Chapter 669. Qiu Yuan's strength. The light faded, and the heavenly music disappeared. Qiu Yuan stood in the main hall of Mount Supreme with a calm expression. After receiving Mount Supreme's inheritance, he could be said to be at the top of the pyramid of the lower three realms. Even so, he only bowed apologetically towards the statue at the location of Mount Supreme's inheritance. I'm truly sorry, Senior Duan Gu. Even though I've received your inheritance, I still cannot change my original intentions. There was no one else in the hall. He seemed to be talking to himself, but a long sigh sounded out from within the hall. It's fine. I've already entrusted my abilities to you. No matter what you want to do with them, it's your choice. I have no right to interfere. Junior will never forget Senior's righteousness. Qiu Yuan bowed 3 more times towards the hall, then walked out without looking back. The moment he stepped out of the door, everyone who was searching for fortunes in Mount Supreme was teleported out of Mount Supreme. Everyone looked at each other in confusion. After a long while, the white-robed son of the god realm, Bai Hai, smiled as he looked at Mount Supreme, which was gradually disappearing. The master has appeared, and the fortunes have ended. Everyone, please disperse. Many people revealed looks of pity when they heard that. These were all people who came to Mount Supreme with nothing to show for it. Of course, there were also many greedy people who were unhappy, but no matter what, they could not change the fact that Mount Supreme's fortunes had ended. Bai Hai noticed everyone's expressions with a smile, then walked over to Bien Tianrue's side with a smile. Brother Bien. Don't look at me with that smile, Bien Tianrui rebuked angrily. Bien Tianrui rebuked angrily. He was one of the first to arrive at Mount Supreme, but he hadn't even found a single basic, normal divine artifact in the few months he was stuck in the mountain. He came down with a mission. If he returned empty-handed, he would definitely be punished. Brother Bien, what's wrong? Did you not find anything? Bai Hai smiled. It seems like that's the case. Brother Bien, please take care of yourself. The Four Directions Palace isn't like our other palaces, and Lord Bai An's temper is rather bad, right? Don't smile with me. Bien Tianrui's expression darkened. Bien Tianrui's expression darkened. How could he not know that Bai An had a bad temper? He was originally the 7th Highness of the Four Direction Palace, but recently, the new Highness could be said to be in the limelight. In order to fight for the position, he had specially taken the initiative to come here. On his way here, he had said that he would obtain at least 3 treasures, but now, young master, you're finally out. Iron Bull ran over. While Bien Tianrui was searching for treasures inside, he had been pacing around Mount Supreme, waiting for his young master to come out. Tai Nyo. Bien Tianrui's face lit up. Then, he rolled his eyes and smiled. It seems like my luck has arrived. As soon as he finished speaking, he put his hands on his waist and smiled at the crowd. Hand over the treasures in Mount Supreme. Otherwise, die. The crowd was in an uproar. Bien Tianrui looked at the people around him with a faint smile. Brother Bien, why must you do this? Bai Hai shook his head and sighed. Bien Tianrui crooked his finger at him. Don't try to get close to me. Just give me what you found. I know you brought someone here too, but are you sure that he's Iron Bull's match? General Iron Bull is renowned throughout the world. I can't be sure. Then hand it over. Bien Tianrui smiled fearlessly. At the same time, he glanced at the people around him, then said to Iron Bull, make each of them hand over at least 1 treasure. If they don't, kill them. No problem. The muscular Iron Bull walked in front of the crowd, then reached out his hand to ask for the treasures. They naturally wouldn't give it up just like that. No matter what, they had risked their lives to obtain those treasures in Mount Supreme. Why should we give it to you? I advise you not to make a mistake. Everyone here is someone with status in the immortal region. We've already sent a message for the seniors in our clan to come and receive us. You talk too much. Bien Tianrui's expression darkened, and he gave Iron Bull a look. Iron Bull understood, and reached out towards the young man's head. With his strength, he would definitely crush the young man's head if he managed to grab it. What is the meaning of this? At that moment, Qiu Yuan appeared in front of the young man and helped him block Iron Bull's right hand. Bien Tianrui's eyes lit up when he saw Qiu Yuan. Iron Bull, grab him and make him spit out all of Mount Supreme's treasures. Snatch the treasures. Qiu Yuan smiled calmly. His frail body gave off a terrifying pressure. Iron Bull looked at him with a frown, then heard Bien Tianrui roar, seal! Seal! Boom! A rune instantly appeared on Iron Bull's body. The instant the rune exploded, Iron Bull's eyes turned blood-red. A violent wind swept around him, causing the people around him to be unable to open their eyes. Qiu Yuan continued to smile calmly. A long sword suddenly appeared in his hand. Bien Tianrui's heart skipped a beat when he saw how colorful it looked. He didn't have to snatch everything. His mission would be complete if he could snatch the longsword. Iron Bull. Roar! Iron Bull charged over with a furious roar. Qiu Yuan tapped the ground with the tip of his foot and leaped into the air. The longsword clashed with Iron Bull's arm, causing sparks to fly. Interesting. Suddenly, Qiu Yuan squinted his eyes, and lightning and fire intertwined on the longsword. The Li Fire Sword. It's the Li Fire Sword. Bien Tianrui roared as he looked in front of him. Iron Bull, snatch his sword. Iron Bull charged over with bloodshot eyes. Qiu Yuan calmly took a step back and slashed the longsword against Iron Bull's arm. Roar! Iron Bull howled in pain. Chiao Yuan clenched his fists, but someone suddenly patted his shoulder. Bai Hai. Stop looking. Iron Bull already lost. Bai Hai shook his head with a smile. Bai Hai shook his head with a smile. Bien Tianrui squinted his eyes for a while, then roared angrily, "What are you talking about? He's someone who received Mount Supreme's inheritance. Is his strength limited to this? Iron Bull has already opened all 3 seals, but look at Chiao Yuan's reaction." Bai Hai pointed at Chiao Yuan with his lips. Bai Hai gestured towards Chiao Yuan with his lips. Only then did Bien Tianrui realize. Chiao Yuan had a calm smile on his face the entire time. One must know that Tai Nyo was able to fight multiple heaven immortal experts without opening the seal and not be in a disadvantageous position. His strength would increase by 20% after opening a seal, yet he was still no match for Chiao Yuan even after opening 3 seals. Just how strong is Chiao Yuan right now? An Earth Supreme. I'm going back to regain my sight. If Brother Bien is worried about being punished, I have an excuse that might help you, Bai Hai smiled. Bai Hai chuckled. Bien Tianrui's expression changed slightly. Chapter 670. The Eve of the Great War 1. Brother Bien, aren't you worried that you won't be able to keep your life after you return? Bien Tianrui didn't want to admit it, but Bai Hai's gaze seemed to have seen through him. After a moment of hesitation, he bitterly nodded. It seems like Brother Bien's position in the Four Directions Palace is really... A playful smile surfaced on Bai Hai's face. Bien Tianrui frowned and snorted. That's none of your business. Brother Bien, why must you do this? Bai Hai took out a feather fan from somewhere and waved it. Even though the spiritual energy from Tai Nyo and Chiao Yuan's battle caused his sleeves to flutter, his expression remained indifferent. There was even a sliver of profundity. If you want to survive, it's very simple. Brother Bien, you only need to do this. Bien Tianrui furrowed his brows tighter and tighter as he listened. He immediately rejected Bai Hai without hesitation. How is that possible? How would I, Bien Tianrui, have any face left if I beg her? Brother Bien is still thinking about face when your life is at stake. Bai Hai laughed carelessly. She has a very high position in your 4-way palace. If Brother Bien wants to live, you can only beg her, and you'll have to do it the way I said. This is impossible. Bien Tianrui waved his hand angrily. At that moment, Iron Bull, who was fighting against Chiao Yuan in the air, was stabbed in the chest by Chiao Yuan's longsword, causing blood to splatter onto the ground. Tai Nyo. Bien Tianrui quickly walked up, then looked up at Chiao Yuan, who was leisurely wiping the blood off his longsword. Bien Tianrui gritted his teeth, then grabbed Iron Bull's shoulder. Retreat. Brother Bien, don't forget what I said. If you want to live, do as I say. Bien Tianrui paused for a moment, then fled in panic. Why aren't you leaving? After wiping his sword, Chiao Yuan descended from the sky and spoke to the geniuses who were scared silly. Everyone bowed and thanked him as if they had just woken up from a dream. After a long while, only Bai Hai and Chiao Yuan were left outside Mount Supreme looking at each other. I saw you by Brother Ye's side at that time. Bai Hai noncommittally nodded with a smile and said, Congratulations to Brother Chiao for inheriting Senior Duan's legacy. There's nothing to congratulate me about, Chiao Yuan said calmly. He had never wanted to cultivate, nor did he want to get involved in anything related to cultivation. Duan Gu's inheritance might be a joyous occasion for others, but it was an inescapable problem for him. Brother Chiao has the same temperament as Senior Duan Gu. No wonder the gods' chosen one is you. Bai Hai smiled faintly and raised his eyebrows. We'll meet again in the god realm in the future. I hope that when Brother Chiao sees me, you'll give me some face on account of Brother Yi. With that, a dazzling formation appeared beneath Bai Hai's feet. In just a moment the formation disappeared, and he disappeared from Mount Supreme. I really have 8 lifetimes of bad luck. Chiao Yuan spat on the ground. He raised his head and noticed the seven-colored radiance soaring into the sky in the distance. Yuan. In the sky, City Lord Chiu of Pond City, accompanied by the three demon emperors of Mount Biluo, flew over and landed beside Chiu Yuan. City Lord Chiu reached out and gave Chiu Yuan a bear hug, his eyes filled with joy. As expected, you didn't disappoint me, Brother Chiu. The three demonic emperors of Mount Biluo didn't dare to address him as a virtuous nephew. In these chaotic times, strength reigned supreme. Immortal King Chiu Yuan's strength was enough to stand on equal footing with the three demon emperors. In fact, he was even stronger than them. That should be Maple City, right? Someone actually broke through to the Immortal King level over there? Chiu Yuan couldn't help but frown as he looked at the seven-colored radiance. City Lord Chiu and the three demon emperors nodded. What a coincidence. It's quite a coincidence that the two of you descended at almost the same time. But that's good. Now that the three realms are in chaos, the Immortal region will have an additional expert to protect ourselves. I just wonder if that person from Maple City is someone from the Immortal region. The light over at Mount Supreme has dispersed, Yi Zichen pointed. The white-robed man nodded. It is indeed about time for it to disperse. Although Duangu is rather famous in the God realm, the inheritance technique of imbuing one with wisdom is still a bad plan. It wasted too much divine power. However, I didn't expect the girl beside you. Should I say, as expected of a medicine king? Don't even think about hitting on her. Yi Zichen looked at the white-robed man vigilantly. He knew that the medicine king's value would cause people to harbor ill intentions towards him. No matter what, I can't possibly go and steal from you, right? The white-robed man shook his head with a smile, then squinted his eyes at the sky. I wonder what's going on with the demon realm. Why haven't I heard any news? Su Yun stood quietly in front of Lord Black Dragon in the Demon Dragon Palace. Behind Black Dragon were several demon sovereigns and hundreds of thousands of demon realm soldiers. Su Yun's words caused a huge commotion. Even the soldiers who had no right to speak couldn't help but whisper amongst themselves. All of a sudden, everyone was in an uproar. Black Dragon glowered at Su Yun. Su Yun fearlessly raised his head and met his gaze. Su Yun, I have treated you well. I, Su Yun, will never forget Lord Black Dragon's kindness, Su Yun replied seriously. But Yi Zichen is my best brother. I can't do anything to him. Good brother, Black Dragon nodded with a dark expression. Then what did you mean by your words just now? If I don't kill you today, then when you meet Yi Zichen in the future, I can't guarantee that I will kill him myself. No matter what, I can't do it. However, I will definitely serve the demon realm with all my heart. I've already let him go too many times. If this continues, then it will be unfair to Lord Black Dragon. So you know that it's unfair to me, Black Dragon sneered. Li Min Yi wanted to say something else, but the demon sovereigns beside her pulled her away and shook their heads at her. In such a situation, it was up to the Black Dragon to judge. If an outsider were to speak up, it would be counterproductive. After a long while, the atmosphere in front of the Demon Dragon Palace turned silent. If I give you another chance and ask you to serve the demon realm, I will definitely do my best until my death. Su Yun knelt down on one knee and replied firmly. Black Dragon squinted his eyes and raised his eyebrows. All right, then I'll give you that chance. Thank you, Lord Black Dragon. Hearing that, Li Min Yi and the other demon sovereigns couldn't help but let out a long sigh. Gu Li nodded with a playful smile, while praising Su Yun in his heart. However, at that moment, Lord Black Dragon's tone suddenly changed. Su Yun, who was kneeling on the ground, felt his heart tremble. Chapter 671. The Eve of the Great War, 2. Black Dragon looked meaningfully at Su Yun, trying to find some clues from his expression. Little did he know that his probing had played right into Su Yun's hands. This subordinate obeys. Black Dragon's eyes flashed with an indescribable light, but he didn't say anything else. He nodded lightly. You're right, he said. That's settled then, Lord Black Dragon. At that moment, Guli suddenly stepped forward. Suiyun, who had finally calmed down, frowned at him. In terms of variables, Guli was the biggest variable. It would be best if he didn't cause any trouble. Guli smiled back at him, then heard Black Dragon say, Don't worry, I'll be fine. What do you want to say? Your subordinate also wants to stay in our main camp. Guli smirked, then glanced meaningfully at Suiyun. Reason? Your Excellency Black Dragon, shouldn't you already know? Guli couldn't help but smile. Black Dragon's heart skipped a beat. The three realms this time could be said to have mobilized all the elites of the demon world. Although he didn't sense anything from Suiyun's words and actions, he still couldn't completely trust him. He brought him to the three realms for fear that he would cause trouble. If they left him in the Devil Realm's base camp, they were worried that he would do something when their elites were not around. Although Guli wasn't his old subordinate, he was still Chio's reincarnation. The two of them had never been particularly on good terms, so it was not a bad idea to leave him here. I agree. Then I shall thank Lord Black Dragon here. Guli smiled the entire time, and glanced at Suiyun from time to time. I'll leave the demon realm to you. Don't disappoint me. When Suiyun and Guli nodded, Black Dragon said meaningfully. Only then did he heave a long sigh of relief, turned his head and shouted. Advance! The Black Dragon's roar signaled the end of the farce. All the Devil Realm soldiers were shocked. They raised their spirits and walked into the wormhole in front of them. Master Su, I truly admire you from the bottom of my heart. Guli, who remained in front of the palace, gave Suiyun a thumbs up. To be able to make someone as cautious as the Black Dragon choose to keep you in such a critical moment, I am impressed. With your acting skills, it would be a pity if you didn't become an actor in the modern world. Don't talk so much nonsense. Suiyun replied with a straight face, but his heart was thumping non-stop. Just now, he was really on the verge of death. If the Black Dragon really wanted to kill him, in the face of all the elites of the Devil Realm, he was not sure if he could survive. Why are you staying in the demon world? Don't tell me you want to keep an eye on me. Only the Black Dragon would believe that. Naturally, I have my own ideas. Guli's lips curled into a smile, then he stretched lazily, then looked at the Black Dragon Palace. The demon realm really is peaceful these days, but it'd be great if this palace was mine. With that, Guli shook his head and left the main hall. Suiyun, who remained in front of the palace, frowned, but he didn't think too much about it. He spread out his spiritual awareness, and after confirming that there was no one around, he took out his phone and sent a message. My lord, why didn't you execute Suiyun? This kind of person is disloyal to our Devil Realm, we don't need him at all. Black Dragon looked ahead with bright eyes. Suiyun is very useful to my future plans. What's more, a formation grandmaster isn't someone we can kill so easily. The leader of the 12 demon sovereigns couldn't help but speak up. But, I know what you're worried about. I'm the same. Black Dragon sighed, then said, I'm still worried about leaving Suiyun and Guli behind. I'm still a bit worried about leaving Suiyun and Guli behind. In a moment, send someone back to keep an eye on them. Report to me immediately if there's any news. This subordinate understands. In front of the Valley of Death, Lori's divinity descent still hadn't ended. 6 hours had already passed, and during this time, Fatty Een hadn't stopped gasping in surprise for a single moment. 6 hours meant that she was at least at the heavenly supreme realm. Ding-dong. The white-robed man's pocket rang, attracting everyone's attention. When they turned around, they saw the white-robed man take out a phone identical to Yi Zichen's. The white-robed man tapped on it a few times, then pursed his lips into a smile. You're finally here. Who's here? The demons? Yi Zichen stood up with a frown. What do you need me for? Don't worry. The white-robed man signaled Yi Zichen to calm down, then said, the demon elites have all come out. Since there are too many of them, they can't use teleportation points, so they can only teleport through space. According to my calculations, they naturally have to give up jumping distances in order to stabilize the space in order to accommodate so many wormholes. They'll need at least 3 days to reach the immortal region. That way, we'll have enough time to arrange our troop. The white-robed man's eyes were filled with indescribable ease, as if he didn't care about the demon's attack at all. He's truly inviting them into a trap. Just what are you planning? Haven't you heard that the secrets of the heavens cannot be revealed? The white-robed man smiled mysteriously. At that moment, the celestial music disappeared, and the light in the sky also disappeared. Although she looked mature on the outside, it was unable to hide her blank heart. Bang! Ouch! Lori pouted unhappily. But when she saw Yizichin, she immediately jumped up from the ground with a giggle and ran over to his side, then took out a pill from her pocket and ate it happily. Yizichin caressed her hair lovingly, then heard the white-robed man speak up. It seems like she's rather attached to you. Don't even think about doing anything to her. Although she's pure, she can tell who's good to her and who's bad to her. I've never thought about using her as a catalyst or anything like that. It's just that she's too dumb, so I brought her with me so that others won't bully her. Yizichin glanced at Lori as he spoke, and she happened to be looking back at him. When their gazes met, Lori giggled, then dumbly poured out a pill from a bottle and popped it into her mouth with a look of happiness. It seems like this is luck as well. The white-robed man nodded with a smile when he saw Lori and Yizichin's expressions. Perhaps a natural spiritual being like her is pure, but she can indeed tell who's good to her and who's bad to her. Fate really does play tricks on people. Back then, I spent all my wealth to ask for a single herbalist, but I didn't get one. Yet, Yizichin actually found a top-grade herbalist in the 3 realms. Chapter 672. The Eve of the Great War. 3. Shaking his head with a smile, the white-robed man put his phone into his pocket. All right, since her god's descent has ended, let's not stand here any longer. I need to go and arrange some follow-up matters. Fatty, find a place to stay with Yizichin. Hey, no problem. Fatty Een grinned. The white-robed man nodded at him, then leapt off the cliff and disappeared. Let's go, follow this Lord Fatty. Lori, who was on the side, frowned and muttered to Yizichin, who had a perverted smile on the fatty's face. Should we go with him? He doesn't seem like a good person. He's not a bad person. Yizichin rubbed Lori's hair with a smile, then raised his eyebrows at Fatty Een. Where are we going? Can't we just stay in Maple City? That won't do. You can't wander around right now. If you mess up that guy's plan, I won't be able to take responsibility. As he spoke, he hooked his finger at third Fatty Jean. Little Fatty over there. Yes, Lord Fatty called you that. Don't even think about returning to the immortal region. Just follow this fat grandpa quietly, understand? With that, Fatty Een grabbed Yizichin and third Fatty Jean and disappeared from the entrance of the Valley of Death. Time flew by. No one could have imagined that the place Fatty Een had found for them was actually a black bear's territory. In order to occupy this territory, Fatty Een had fought with the black bear quite a few times. In the end, the black bear succumbed to his tyranny and gave up half of the cave. During that time, Yizichin continued to ask about the white-robed man's plan. However, the fatty's mouth was truly tight. No matter how Yizichin asked, he refused to say anything. Fatty Een, I'll ask you one last time. Outside the black bear cave, Yizichin leaned against the wall with a cigarette in his mouth. You should know that Su Yen is Su Zhu's little sister. Our relationship is very special. If you don't tell me, I'll get Su Yen to badmouth you in front of Su Zhu. Kid, don't you dare threaten me. Fatty Yin's expression changed slightly. It was obvious that he cared a lot about Su Zhu. But when he thought about the white-robed man's warning, even if you tell Su Yen to badmouth me to Su Zhu, I won't tell you. Besides, I, Lord Fatty, am not afraid of crooked shadows. Go ahead if you have the ability. Alright, you said it yourself. With that, Yi Zichen took out his phone and looked for his chat with Su Yan. Fatty Een secretly observed Yi Zichen's actions. When he saw that Yi Zichen was really going to find Su Yan, "I say, brother, what you're doing isn't right." Fatty Een raised his hand to stop Yi Zichen, but Yi Zichen was no longer in the mood to complain. Su Yan's chat window was filled with messages from her. "How are things on your side? I heard that the immortal region and the underworld are at war. Are you all right? Why haven't you replied after so long? Is he busy with something? The other party sent you a video message. Since you did not accept it in time, the video message has been cancelled." "Yi Zichen, what's wrong with you?" Yi Zichen could feel her deep concern from her words. Seeing that, Yi Zichen slapped himself on the head. "I didn't tell Su Yan that I'm safe when I returned. Damn it. I'm fine, don't worry about me." Yi Zichen sent the message over. Not long later, Su Yan sent him a video call. Except, Su Yan's expression was filled with hope in the video call. When she saw Yi Zichen's face, her eyes brightened. "You scared me to death. I thought something happened to you since you didn't reply for so long." "What could I have done?" Yi Zichen pursed his lips and smiled. However, he noticed that her background was not her room. Behind him was a vast plain, and nearby, armored fox demons were constantly walking back and forth. "What are you? The war between the immortal region and the underworld has also affected the endless beast region. I asked Second Sis before, and it seems like the endless beast region is going to send out troops as well. As for who we're going to fight, I'm not sure," Su Yan said with a hint of bitterness. A trace of bitterness could be seen on Su Yan's face. With her personality, she didn't want to see war. "Kiki and Lulu have returned to their clans as well. All of us big clans are going to send out troops. However, the three of us promised in private that if we fight, we will definitely stand on your side." Yi Zichen knew very well that Su Yan's seemingly sweet smile in the video call was a forced act. Nobody liked war. War meant death. For people like them who lived in a peaceful era in the modern realm, war was a topic that was far too distant. Even if stray cats and dogs died, people would feel sorry for them. What's more, it was war. Those were lives that died. "I can't tell you. Lu Erjie told me to go gather. Good luck, you have to survive." After Su Yan cheered Yi Zichen on, the video call ended. Yi Zichen squinted his eyes and put his phone back into his pocket. Su Yan's words continued to echo in his mind. The Endless Beast region also got involved. "Fatty Een, please tell me the truth. What on earth is he planning? He even dragged the Endless Beast region into this." Yi Zichen roared with a red face. Fatty Een licked his lips. "I really can't say." "What a joke." Yi Zichen licked his lips, his gaze filled with mockery. "I was the cause of this war, but when I returned, you wouldn't let me see anyone. You said you were afraid I'd ruin your plans. But as the person involved, I don't even have the right to know. Little Yi, that guy definitely won't harm you." Fatty Een patted Yi Zichen's shoulder. At that moment, a white figure floated down from the sky. "Throwing a tantrum? I just want to know your plan." Yi Zichen stared straight at the white-robed man's censored face. The white-robed man shrugged with a smile. "Of course. You can already know our plan now." Suddenly, a few scenes of conversation appeared in Yi Zichen's mind. Yi Zichen's eyes widened as he watched everything play out in his mind like a movie. You, very surprised, right?" The white-robed man pursed his lips with a smile. "But this isn't the end. It's very hard to shake the demon realm with just the people I arranged. We still need your help." "Me?" Yi Zichen asked in confusion. "What kind of power could I have?" The people that the white-robed man found in the video, they were all strong people. Chapter 673. Eve of the Great War 4. Do you think the current situation is not chaotic enough? When he heard the white-robed man's words, Yi Zichen shrugged speechlessly and sneered. The chat group had already made it very clear that the Jade Emperor had been keeping an eye on the immortal region and the underworld all this time, and was preparing to make a move behind their back. If the Heavenly Court's people were to come over now, wouldn't it be a mess? Do you not believe in your appeal? Did I ask you to increase their intimacy with you for nothing? The white-robed man chuckled. Putting the others aside, Yang Jian. Between you and the Jade Emperor, who do you think he would choose? What are you planning? Yi Zichen frowned. From the white-robed man's words, it seems like he knew this would happen a long time ago, which was why he told me to increase my intimacy level with the deities in the heavenly court. Everything I've planned is naturally for the sake of the three realms. The white-robed man sighed and said, Go find Yang Jian and the others. If we want to deal with the elites of the demon realm, their strength is indispensable. His eyes hesitantly swept over the white-robed man's body twice. That damned mosaic had completely blocked his face. There was no way to see his expression and capture any useful information. Yi Zichen thought about it for a moment, then chose to believe him. He took out his phone from his pocket and clicked on the social media app, where Yang Jian and the others had created a private group. God of Thunder, Old Yang, I can't take the pressure anymore. I'm going to send troops. God of Fortune, I also allocated funds. Old Lord Taishang, I've also sent out the battle token. Erlingshin, do you guys really want to attack the immortal region and the underworld? The Jade Emperor is being muddle-headed there. Are you guys still not awake? Erlingshin, if we attack the underworld and immortal region now, what if the demons attack us? Erlingshin, there's a tiger in the back and a wolf in the front. We can't hold on. Canopy Marshal, just now the Jade Emperor asked me if I could bring 100,000 heavenly soldiers and generals with me. God of Thunder, the heavenly court has probably found everyone who can command troop. It seems like the Jade Emperor is determined to fight. Erlingshin, damn it. Pagoda-bearing heavenly kingly. I don't know if you guys know, but the great sage also organized the Endless Beast region's people to send troop. As for the reason, he didn't say. Erlingshin, why is this monkey joining in as well? I'm really going crazy. God of Thunder, Old Yang, it's not like you can't come out if you don't want to. If you don't come out, the Jade Emperor will naturally strip you of your military power and find someone else. If that's the case, we might as well send out our troops. At least we can take into account our old relationship. We can also just send out our troops and not do anything, right? God of Fortune, I wonder where the Celestial Master went. If he comes out now and takes out the Jade Emperor's waste token, pagoda-bearing heavenly kingly, sigh. From the looks of it, the Jade Emperor was pressuring them again to attack the immortal region and the underworld. Yi Zichen frowned, then looked up at the white-robed man. What should I tell them? Have them deploy their troops and station them outside Maple City. The white-robed man replied calmly, however, don't act against the ordinary people outside the immortal region. Tell them to bide their time. Then, we'll have to wait for the elites of the demon realm to fall into our trap. Yi Zichen took a few deep breaths, then nodded towards the white-robed man, then took out his phone and sent a message in the group. I'm back. After Yi Zichen sent the message, the deities in the group stopped sending messages for roughly half a minute. Yi Zichen's sudden appearance must have shocked the deities in the group. God of Fortune, Sky Sovereign, God of Thunder, I'm not seeing things right? The message just now was from Sky Sovereign. Old Lord Taishang, the person in charge is finally here. Pagoda-bearing heavenly kingly, Sky Sovereign, you know the current situation of the three realms, right? Canopy Marshal, this is great, this is great. Erlingshin, bro, you're amazing. Where have you been for so long? Us bros are getting really anxious. I went to a dangerous place recently and only managed to get out, Yi Zichen typed on the screen. I know a bit about the situation of the immortal region and the underworld. Can anyone tell me about the situation of the heavenly court? Old Lord Taishang, that bastard the Jade Emperor is really stupid. He wants to use this chance to bring down the underworld and the immortal region. Erlingshin, recently I've been ordering me to deploy my troops 7 times a day. God of Thunder. The cloudy palace of the Golden Arches has been having meetings all day, and they're all discussing how to take over the immortal region and the underworld. Pagoda-bearing Heavenly Kingly. Due to the Jade Emperor's stubbornness, the Queen Mother and the Jade Emperor had a falling out and left the management of the Heavenly Court. Now, the Jade Emperor is in charge alone. Third Prince Neza. Sky Sovereign is back. I heard from Immortality Peach Fairy that the Queen Mother is really angry at the Jade Emperor. She has already ordered the other 4 great emperors to impeach the Jade Emperor. Yi Zichen was stunned. I didn't expect so much trouble to happen in the Heavenly Court because of the underworld and the immortal region. Especially the Queen Mother and the Jade Emperor. They've already fallen out. God of Thunder. The Queen Mother wants to impeach the Jade Emperor. No wonder the Jade Emperor is so anxious. It seems like he wants to take over the underworld and the immortal region as soon as possible. Then, even if the 4 great emperors arrive, his position will still be stable. Erlingshin, pay attention. We don't care about whether the Jade Emperor impeaches the Jade Emperor or not. Now that my bro is here, should we send troops or, pagoda-bearing Heavenly Kingly? Yes. That's right. God of Thunder. Sky Sovereign, what do you think? Should we send troops to the immortal region and the underworld? Yi Zichen glanced at the white-robed man, and saw that the white-robed man was also looking at him and nodding. Let them come. The elites of the demon realm will be relying on these generals. Yi Zichen clenched his teeth, then replied on the screen. Send troops. God of Thunder, God of Fortune, Erlingshin. Bro, you're joking, right? You want us to attack the immortal region and the underworld as well? Of course I'm not telling you to attack the other 2 realms. Yi Zichen squinted his eyes. I'm telling you to come to attack the demon realm. Within the spatial wormhole. After several days of sleepless travel, the demon realm was getting closer and closer to the immortal region. Lord Black Dragon, the immortal region's pool city is just up ahead. The bald demon sovereign walked over. The bald head of the demon sovereigns walked over. Black Dragon, who had his eyes closed, suddenly opened his eyes. A sharp gaze shot out from his eyes. Are we finally here? Black Dragon smirked, while his body couldn't help but tremble. It's been several thousand years. I've waited for this chance for several thousand years. It's finally here. This time, the elites of the demon realm have all come out. It just so happens that the immortal region, the underworld, and the heavenly court are fighting intensely. We will definitely be able to take over the 3 realms and leave a glorious mark in Lord Black Dragon's history, the bald demon sovereign replied excitedly. The bald demon venerable answered excitedly. The smile on Black Dragon's face became more and more unrestrained. Chapter 674. The world has arrived. Looks like you've told your gay friends? The moment Yi Zichen put down his phone, the white-robed man's tone was filled with playfulness. Yi Zichen glanced at him. My opinion of him has been getting worse and worse recently. If it wasn't for the fact that I'm stronger, I really want to punch him. Wait, I have Lori by my side now. I have to deal with him properly when I have time. A naughty smile surfaced on Yi Zichen's face as he imagined the scene of the white-robed man begging for mercy. The other party also noticed his expression. He gently spread his hands and smiled bitterly. He shrugged and smiled wryly. I might disappoint you, but the girl beside you doesn't seem to be able to beat me. Does this guy know how to read minds? Yi Zichen couldn't help but retort. Then, he let out a long sigh. I've done what you asked me to do. What should I do now? The white-robed man took a deep breath, then turned around and looked towards the sky. There's nothing much to do. The demons have already arrived. Prepare to fight. What? Yi Zichen suddenly looked up, but the sky was still as calm as before, without a single ripple. Where are the demons? Inside. With that, the white-robed man looked towards the sky with a glint in his eyes. What's the situation outside? Inside the wormhole, Black Dragon's eyes shone brightly as he looked at the Demon Realm scout he had sent out to scout out the situation. Lord Black Dragon, the Immortal Region has stationed their elites outside Maple City. Many of them are injured. It seems like they just fought with some other faction. The higher-ups of the Immortal Region have yet to show themselves, and I haven't seen the Underworld's team. Black Dragon squinted his eyes and pondered. Scout again. Understood. The demon scout nodded and left the wormhole. The bald demon sovereign walked over with a frown. My lord, what are you worried about? The bald demon sovereign walked over with a frown. My lord, what are you worried about? The demons have all come out this time, and only one of us can succeed. If anything goes wrong, then we will all be wiped out. Although we received news that the Underworld and the Immortal Region are fighting, I'm worried that it might be a trap if I don't see it with my own eyes. Black Dragon frowned. This Black Dragon. I underestimated him. A faint smile appeared on the white-robed man's face as he said, as expected of the leader of the Demon Realm, Black Dragon sure is cautious. The scout has already scouted 3 times. It seems that he won't make a move until he sees the 2 armies fighting. The Devil Realm sent spies? Yizichin was shocked. The white-robed man didn't deny it. This is the 4th time. Don't ask me how I know. If you calm down and spread out your spiritual sense, you will also be able to detect it. When he heard that, Yizichin closed his eyes and spread his spiritual awareness. As expected, he found a person with a strange expression outside Maple City. However, what surprised him was that there was a large group of people stationed outside Maple City. You can feel it, right? The white-robed man pursed his lips into a smile and said, I asked Emperor Yen to send those people over. I thought that Black Dragon would fall for it if I put on a show, but now it seems that I have to get serious if I want him to fall for it. With that, a folding fan suddenly appeared in the white-robed man's hand. Opening the folding fan, he wrote a bunch of words on the top of the folding fan out of thin air. Then, with a forceful flick, the folding fan disappeared into thin air. I don't believe that you won't come out this time. Report. The demon scout shouted as he charged into the wormhole. Black Dragon glanced at him, then heard the scout reply, Lord Black Dragon, the Immortal Region and Underworld have started fighting. Are you sure? Black Dragon's expression was filled with nervousness. Not long later, another scout appeared in the wormhole. Report, the Immortal Region and Underworld have started fighting. The Underworld side is led by the Black and White Impermanents, and has about 200,000 men with them. Good. A smile appeared on the Black Dragon's face as he said, Continue. Report, the Immortal Region has suffered heavy casualties. The Immortal Region's great Emperor Qingming has already appeared. Oxhead and Horseface of the Underworld have also joined the battle. Report, the Immortal Region's great Emperor Qingming and the Underworld's Black and White Impermanents have both suffered heavy casualties. Report, the 4 great Emperors of the Immortal Region have all moved out and are fighting against the Underworld's 10 ghost generals. Black Dragon's expression also became more and more heated as the reports continued to come in. The bald demon sovereign couldn't help but speak up, My lord, let's do it. Wait a bit longer. The time isn't right yet. Black Dragon shook his head. I need to wait. Wait for an opportunity. He's actually not coming out yet. I really underestimated him. Black Dragon shook his head. He still hasn't come out. I've really underestimated him. He's actually not coming out yet? I really underestimated him. The white-robed man looked into the sky, then looked down at Yizichin. All right. With that, Yizichin clicked open the chat group and mentioned Yang Jian and company in it. Send out troops to Maple City and pretend to attack the Underworld. Erling Shin, got it? God of Thunder, understood. Pagoda bearing Heavenly Kingly, all right. Third Prince Neza, I'm ready. God of Fortune, Sky Sovereign, can you tell us what you're doing this for? Don't tell them. At that moment, the white-robed man suddenly spoke up. There are demon spies in the heavenly court. I know. Yi Zichen replied to the white-robed man, then replied in the group, I can't tell you the reason. I can't tell you the reason. You just need to do as I say. God of Thunder, we trust Sky Sovereign. Erlingshin, hey, I'll do whatever my bro tells me to do. I'll definitely obey. Third Prince Neza, we have to listen to Sky Sovereign. The deities in the group nodded. Yi Zichen gave a few more instructions in the group, then put away his phone and looked towards the white-robed man. Do you know who the demon spies are? To be honest, I really don't. The white-robed man shrugged. How long did Yang Jian and company say before they can send out their troops? Within an hour. Then it seems like the first battle will be fought in the evening. With that, the white-robed man muttered. As soon as he finished speaking, the white-robed man muttered, Black Dragon, this time, I've given you enough acting. Give me some face and take the bait. Time passed by. While Yi Zichen and company waited anxiously, Black Dragon was even more anxious. The demon sovereign beside him had already urged him to act more than once. He wanted to act as well, but he was waiting for that opportunity. My lord, what are you waiting for? I know what I'm doing. Black Dragon frowned. At the same time, the scout outside the wormhole reported once more. Report. The heavenly court's Yang Jian, Li Jing and the other divine generals have sent out their troops to Maple City, and have already started fighting with the underworld and immortal region. Creak. Black Dragon, who had been frowning all this while, clenched his fist tightly. Soon after, a smile rose from the corners of his mouth. Send out the troops. They're finally out. Seeing that night was about to fall, the white-robed man who had been standing guard outside the bear cave and looking at the sky suddenly smiled. With that, the orange-yellow sky suddenly turned pitch black. Then, it wasn't the dark clouds that caused the sunset to change color, it was a figure that made one's scalp go numb. Looking into the void, as far as the eye could see, there were black shadows everywhere. It was clear that the demons were truly determined to take over the three realms during the chaos. They had brought all of their elites over. The normal citizens in the outer regions of the immortal region all revealed looks of panic when they saw this. Some of the hidden experts either had their chessboards shattered, or their flutes broke. When they raised their heads and looked up at the void. Chapter 675. Your king has returned. Black Dragon's face was dark as he emerged from the wormhole. He stood high above in the sky and looked down at the ants below him. He enjoyed it indescribably. There had always been a story in the three realms. It was rumored that hundreds of thousands of years ago, the lower three realms were subordinate territories of the upper three realms' demon realm. Back then, the demon emperor was incredibly powerful. The demon realm reigned supreme in the three realms of gods, demons, and Yao. However, the demon realm was tyrannical. The god realm and Yao realm were invaded by them, and their territory was constantly eroded. In order to protect themselves, the higher-ups of the god realm and Yao realm secretly contacted the shamans, who were detached from the three realms. They used up all their resources in exchange for a promise. With the Yao realm's supreme dragon clan as the leader and the god realm as support, they launched an unprecedented war against the demon realm. Before attacking the demon realm, the god realm and Yao realm conquered the lower three realms in order to preserve a spark for themselves, forming the current lower three realms. Sensing their leader's lofty sentiments, the surrounding demon sovereigns couldn't help but be infected. They calmly looked down at the ant-like beings below, their eyes filled with indifference. The people of the devil race knew very well that this territory belonged to the devil world. Why did the demon realm have to live in that pitiful subdimension? The three realms, it was time to take it back. My lord, please proceed with the next step. The bald demon sovereign stepped forward. Black Dragon glanced at him with a faint smile, then gazed into the distance. Our appearance must have given those arrogant fellows a fright. Infighting. They sure have the leisure to do so. A moment later, Black Dragon's expression turned serious. 12 demon sovereigns. Here. The demon realm's 10 demon sovereigns all stepped forward. Black Dragon's gaze swept over them, his voice cold and cruel. Take a team each and attack all the cities in the immortal region. Understood. The demon sovereigns turned into streaks of light and disappeared in front of Black Dragon. At the same time, Black Dragon narrowed his eyes and looked at the orange sunset. I, the Black Dragon, will take back the lands of the demon realm the same way you stole them back then. Immortal region, your territory shall be sacrificed for the rise of the demon realm. In the blink of an eye, a cruel smile appeared on Black Dragon's face, accompanied by the blood-red sunset. It made people even more terrified. A full quarter of an hour passed, and Black Dragon was still standing in the air with that strange smile on his face. After calming himself down, he put on a humble smile and spoke to Chiu Hai. Senior, I wonder if you're interested in joining me over there? Black Dragon raised his eyebrows towards the south. Chiu Hai smiled. All right. Those in the sky are the people from the devil world. Yi Zichen squinted his eyes. Beneath his calm exterior, his heart was filled with indescribable shock. Conservatively speaking, there were more than 1 million of them. Who would have thought that the defeated devil world would still be able to produce such a military force? In the face of such an aggressive demon world, could the 3 realms really defend itself? Who else could it be if not the demon realm? The white-robed man's tone was somewhat frivolous. This Black Dragon has really cut off all means of retreat. I dare say that his army in the demon realm is less than 3,000. At that moment, the demon realm's army in the sky split up and spread out in all directions. When Yi Zichen saw this, he frowned. It was clear that they were ready to attack the other side. Seeing that, Yi Zichen frowned. What are you sighing for? Black Dragon has already sent out his army. Hurry up and carry out whatever plan you have. Could it be that you want to take the chance to attack his base and take drastic measures? Then hurry up and do it. Young man, calm down, the white-robed man replied calmly. What angered Yi Zichen even more was that the white-robed man actually sat leisurely on a boulder outside the cave and started to smoke for no reason. Yi Zichen clenched his teeth and glared at him, then grabbed Lori. If you're not going to attack, then I'll deal with it my way. All right? Stop! The white-robed man on the boulder roared. Yi Zichen ignored him and continued to walk forward, only to find that the space around him had already been sealed. What are you nervous about? I've already arranged everything. Isn't it just the demon realm? The demon realm was able to beat the crap out of him back then, so he can do the same now? What? Do you doubt that the power of the entire 3 realms can't deal with the puny demon realm? Then you. Yi Zichen paused. That's nothing. Black Dragon has already sent scouts out so many times. Do you think that he will fight us if the 3 realms send out all of their forces to counterattack? The white-robed man shook his head. He's just too young. You're inviting him into a trap? He didn't even jump in and you already let him escape? Then wouldn't all of our big plans go to waste? Don't be nervous. Hurry up and send a message to your little brothers in the heavenly court. Tell them to fight the people of the immortal region and underworld. Also, tell those heavenly soldiers and generals to stop just standing there and watching. Even idiots like them can tell that it's all an act. You've been watching. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. The white-robed man cursed in annoyance. Isn't that obvious? Lousy smokes to concentrate. Look at how you were acting just now. Hurry up and send the message. Black Dragon and company are in trouble when they get here. Yang Jian Yu Xiebian coughed up a mouthful of blood and fell onto the ground outside Maple City. Meanwhile, Yang Jian stood in front of him with his halberd pointed at his throat. Great Emperor Qingming also looked at pagoda-bearing Heavenly Kingly with bloodshot eyes. His brother had just been sucked into the exquisite treasure pagoda. Heavenly Court, The immortal region and you are irreconcilable. The red-eyed great Emperor Qingming's voice was hoarse. Lei Zhenzi held the galloping thunder hammer in his hand and sneered at him. Irreconcilable? Do you think you're worthy? The Jade Emperor has said that if the immortal region and underworld respect the heavenly court, then we can let you go. Otherwise, don't blame us for being impolite. Listen to me and surrender. Your two realms have already suffered great losses from the war. Resisting will only result in the destruction of your realms. The demon realm back then is a living example. Don't you want? You're shameless. Boom. Just as Lei Zhenzi tried to appease great Emperor Qingming, his chest was suddenly injured. He coughed up blood as he was sent flying 100 meters away. Shock flashed through the eyes of the people from the immortal region, underworld, and heavenly court. When they looked up, they saw a playful smile on Black Dragon's face. Beside him was Qiu Hai, who was coming with him. Chapter 676. Betrayal and Betrayal, You. Yang Jian's eyes were filled with unconcealable shock. God of Thunder and the others gathered around and stared at Black Dragon, who was standing in front of them and looking at them playfully. Demon scum, I didn't think you'd dare appear in the three realms so openly. This is the territory of the demon realm. Why wouldn't I dare? Black Dragon's purple cape fluttered in the wind. His every movement was filled with heroic spirit. Back then, the God and Yao realms schemed against the demon realm and laid low for hundreds of thousands of years. Do you really think the demon realm has lost? How dare a stray dog speak so arrogantly? Watch your grandpa Yang Jian teach you a lesson. As soon as he finished speaking, Yang Jian's lance glowed with a silver-white light. Heavenly Kingly, God of Thunder, and Neza watched the show without any intention of helping. Yang Jian used 80% of his strength and stabbed forward with his halberd. Black Dragon didn't move at all. He raised his hand and revealed his scaly arm. Die. The halberd collided with Black Dragon's arm and created a spark. Yang Jian turned around and stabbed back, but before the halberd could reach him, he forced himself to a stop and only stopped after retreating a dozen meters. The next moment, the plains burned with purple flames. Black Dragon also sneered at Yang Jian with a faint smile. Not bad. Black Dragon. At that moment, the red-eyed great Emperor Qingming gritted his teeth and stood up. What is it? Black Dragon's eyes were playful as he watched great Emperor Qingming kneel on the ground. The immortal region didn't participate in the invasion of the demon realm. Of course, we can't deny that the immortal region was a part of the God realm. But after so much time, the immortal region and the God realm have become estranged. This is different from the heavenly court. I beg you, help me slaughter the heavenly court. I can represent the immortal region and become the demon realm's vassal. We'll give you our territory with both hands. And the underworld. Xie Baiyan glared at the heavenly court with bloodshot eyes. The underworld is also willing to serve the demon realm and listen to their orders. I only ask for them to die. Xie Baiyan, great Emperor Qingming. Thunder God scolded angrily. How could you? Shut up. Kneeling on the ground, great Emperor Qingming rebuked. Compared to becoming a vassal of the demon realm, it's better than being ordered around by your ambitious heavenly court. Grandson of the heavenly court, you want to play the mantis stalking the cicada, but you didn't expect the oriole behind. A bunch of lunatic. Lei Zhenzi cursed angrily. Pagoda-bearing heavenly Kingly and Neza also changed their expressions and stared at Black Dragon and Qiu Hai cautiously. TSK, so ugly. Black Dragon looked at the scene in front of him mockingly, but he didn't have much doubt in his heart. An hour ago, he and Qiu Hai had been hiding nearby to observe the battle between the three realms. If he wasn't sure that they were really fighting, he wouldn't have come out. Especially the red-eyed great Emperor Qingming. He saw with his own eyes that pagoda-bearing heavenly Kingly had sucked his brother inside. If there was anyone who didn't believe it, It would be the representatives of the various worlds that they claimed to represent. In terms of territory, unless it was in the face of absolute power, it was impossible for the other side to give it up. But Xie Bian and Great Emperor Qingming had shown their true feelings. There was no need to talk about territory here. Taking them under his wing was not a bad idea. As for the territory, he had millions of lions in the devil world. How difficult would it be to deal with the immortal region, the underworld, and the heavenly court, who were already injured? Senior Qiu Hai. Black Dragon bowed towards Qiu Hai. Qiu Hai nodded with a smile. I know what you want to say. Do you want to capture them or kill them? It depends on your mood. Of course, it's best to keep them alive. We have the least information on the heavenly court, so it's not bad to get some information from them. Then he looked at Xie Bian and Great Emperor Qingming. Since our demon realm has turned out in full force this time, we are determined to obtain the territory of the three realms. However, let's not talk about vassals or not. It's good that you can remember this favor. As long as you can fulfill our request, I, Qingming, am willing to pledge my loyalty to you. I pledge my loyalty to you. The people of the underworld and the immortal region spoke in unison. Black Dragon nodded in satisfaction and took a step back. Senior, I'm counting on you. Humph. Reclaiming the three realms is my duty. Why would I count on you? Little fellows of the heavenly court, if you surrender now, I might spare your lives out of respect for your talents. Cultivation isn't easy. Take care of yourselves. Qiu Hai smiled faintly. Yang Jian snorted, don't worry. Yang Jian snorted, old fart, don't boast shamelessly. You're an old man with half your body in the grave, yet you're still dreaming. It looks like your grandpa Yang will have to send you off. I wonder if your family has prepared a tomb for you yet. Fush. Yang Jian's third eye opened wide. Li Zhenzi also flapped his wings and soared into the sky. Thunderclouds filled the sky, and bolts of lightning flashed in the sky. Heavenly King Li and Neza also took out their natal artifacts and glared at Qiu Hai. Foolish. Qiu Hai let out a long sigh. His hunched back instantly straightened, and a boundless aura swept out from his body. A majestic aura swept out from his body. Whether it was Yang Jian and the others, or Great Emperor Qingming and Xie Bian who were kneeling on the ground, they all revealed expressions of indescribable shock. Everyone had the same thought in their minds, how is he so strong? Come over. Qiu Hai didn't even move. He merely hooked his finger at Yang Jian and the others. The halberd in Yang Jian's hand suddenly trembled. The artifact's spirit cried out in pain as it tried to escape from his grasp. Behave yourselves. Gripping the halberd in his hand tightly, Yang Jian braced himself and charged forward. Little did they know, retreat. With Heavenly King Li in the lead, Li Zhenzi, Neza, and the others immediately ran. Yang Jian stared blankly at his brothers as they left. You want to leave? Qiu Hai squinted his eyes and grabbed towards them. Heavenly King Li felt an invisible hand and kicked Neza off the ground. Retreat. Dad! Neza's eyes were filled with betrayal. Yang Jian cursed as he watched Heavenly King Li and Li Zhenzi get further and further away. What a good brother! Yang Jian gritted his teeth and glanced at Neza, who was already captured by Qiu Hai. Even if I die, I'm going to drag one of you down with me. Yang Jian stomped in the air and charged towards Qiu Hai like a madman. Die! Ignorant! Dong! Yang Jian, who was flying in the air, fell straight to the ground as if someone had stuck 1,000 caddy-leg drop talisman on him. He vomited blood. I refuse to accept this. Chapter 677. They don't deserve it. On the smoke-filled battlefield, the soldiers of the heavenly court were all captured. After experiencing defeat and betrayal, they no longer had the strength to raise their blades to resist. Driven by the general situation, they put down the blades in their hands and unwillingly became prisoners of the devil realm that they hated. Master! Xie Bian and Great Emperor Qingming knelt down as well, bowing deeply to the black dragon. "Why did you abandon me?" Neza murmured with lifeless eyes. His expression and emotions perfectly portrayed the betrayal of his loved ones. At the last moment, it was his father who pushed him into this bottomless abyss in order to escape. What a despicable scene! Black Dragon's mocking gaze swept across the crowd. Defection! Betrayal! The leaders of the three realms, who once bore countless glory and were worshipped by all living beings, revealed the most despicable faces of humans when their companions and subordinates needed them the most. They don't deserve to own the land of the demon realm. They did not deserve to enjoy the love and respect of the masses. They did not deserve it, they were not worthy. Black Dragon's expression grew darker and darker. He clasped his hands behind his back as he walked past the crowd. Wherever he passed, whether it was the leader or the soldiers under him, they all lowered their heads timidly, not daring to meet his gaze. "Three realms, hee-hee," a playful smile sounded from his mouth. Great Emperor Qingming licked his lips and raised his head. "Lord Black Dragon, I, Qingming, am willing to serve Lord Black Dragon like a dog. You can take the initiative to return to the Celestial region and discuss with the higher-ups about becoming a vassal of the demon realm. You can follow Lord Black Dragon to remove the heaven realm." "Oh!" The Black Dragon glanced at him indifferently. "Lord Black Dragon." Qingming quickly lowered his head. "Don't be nervous." The Black Dragon patted his shoulder and smiled. "Vassal or not, there's no need to say so early. As I said earlier, I don't have a good impression of the people of the Heavenly Court, which is why I attacked. Right now, you are still a member of the Immortal Region, and you, Xie Bian, are still a member of the Underworld." "Yes, yes, yes," Great Emperor Qingming and Xie Bian replied in a panic. "The two of you can bring your subordinates back. Also, help me tell your master that I'm here. I, the Black Dragon, am not a cold-blooded person, and I hate war. There will always be bloodshed in war, and those ordinary people are innocent. I don't want to see the three realms plunged into misery and suffering. As for territory, we can talk about it, don't you think so?" A gentle smile appeared on Black Dragon's face. Great Emperor Qingming and Xie Bian nodded in panic. "Of course, we will naturally report back. That's for the best. Take him and leave." "That's right, I'll take this city in the outer reaches of the Immortal Region. Our demon realm needs a place to rest." "Of course." Great Emperor Qingming nodded and smiled, then bowed. "Lord Black Dragon, we'll report back right away." "Go." Black Dragon smiled and nodded. Not long after, Xie Bian and Great Emperor Qingming disappeared from the battlefield outside Maple City with their subordinate. Qiu Hai raised his eyebrows as he watched them leave. "You're letting them go just like that? Aren't you afraid that it was just a temporary measure? So what? With you here in the three realms, who can be a match for you? What's more, if they're smart, then they'll consider what I said just now." Black Dragon smiled indifferently. Black Dragon smiled indifferently. He glanced at the unconscious Yang Jian and Neza, who seemed to have lost his wit. "They are actually the focus of our trip. What is this place?" Yi Zichen looked at the endless stream of people in front of him in shock, as well as the normal people that continuously entered from the portal not far away. From the looks of it, they should be the citizens of various cities in the outer reaches of the Immortal Region. There were also plenty of people calming them down and distributing resources and places for them to stay. "Of course, this is a subdimension that I cut out of the three realms to take in the citizens of the outer reaches of the Immortal Region," the white-robed man replied. At that moment, Yi Zichen saw a few familiar figures hurrying towards him. "Brother Yi, you really are fine. Old Shui, Stone. Ruan Qingtian, you're here as well," Yi Zichen exclaimed. Ruan Qingtian smiled. "Why can't I be here? Everyone in the outer reaches of the Immortal Region is here, so why can't I be here?" "Doesn't that mean, Yi Zichen?" The moment Yi Zichen thought of that name, he saw Zhuo Mo run towards him with bloodshot eyes. She leaped into his arms without any hesitation and hammered his chest. "Where did you go? It's been so long and you didn't even tell me that you're safe. Ziziz, you actually gave us single dogs a bunch of dog food without warning." Ruan Qingtian hid his jealousy. Ruan Qingtian hid his envy and jealousy. At that moment Yi Zichen felt a sharp gaze. When he turned around, he saw Li Jiai staring coldly at him with her sword in hand. Yi Zichen scratched his head awkwardly. He wanted to wave towards Li Jiai, but before he could do so, she snorted, then left with the sword. Zuoremo frowned and put her hands on her hips. "What's your relationship with her? I felt like there was something going on between the two of you last time." "Ahem. Old Shui, let's go and distribute the resources," Stone coughed. Stone coughed twice. Xueqi noticed Li Jiai not far away and quickly nodded. Ruan Qingtian took the opportunity to laugh dryly. Hey, I'll go with you. You guys. Don't go." Yi Zichen could only silently curse them for not caring about their brotherhood as he watched them leave. Fortunately, the white-robed man stood up at this moment and chuckled. "Miss Zua, I still have something to discuss with Yi Zichen. I wonder if you can lend him to me for a bit?" "Ow, senior, please go ahead." Zuoemo immediately put away her arrogant personality and ran to help distribute the resources nearby. However, she went to Li Jiai's position. From the backs of the two girls, it could be seen that they were secretly competing. "You're a great friend." Yi Zichen gave the white-robed man a thumbs up. The white-robed man chuckled and shrugged. "I wasn't helping you just now. I'm a busy person, I don't have time to care about you youngsters." Yi Zichen rolled his eyes speechlessly, then glanced at Zuoemo and Li Jiai in confusion, only to realize that they were looking at him as well. What made him even more helpless was that after the two of them smiled warmly at him, they glared at each other. "It's good to be young." The white-robed man couldn't help but mock. Yi Zichen sighed helplessly. "Stop making fun of me. Didn't you say that you wanted to discuss it? Then aren't we waiting for someone to come?" With that, another group of people appeared at the spatial landing point. The white-robed man also chuckled. Chapter 678. "There's a small problem with the script. How was my acting just now? You were crying, right?" Great Emperor Qingming winked at Xiebian. God of Thunder and Heavenly King Li were also present, but there was no hint of sadness on their faces at all as they joked around with each other. "I'm the one who acted well, right? My heart hurts a bit when I kicked Neza off the stage." Heavenly King Li raised his eyebrows. Heavenly King Li raised his eyebrows. Thunder God nodded repeatedly and gave him a thumbs up. "That kick was amazing." Great Emperor Qingming smiled. "You're all here." The white-robed man walked over with a smile, while Yi Zichen followed behind him. The upper echelons of the underworld and immortal region all stopped smiling and cupped their hands towards the white-robed man. "Sir, Sky Sovereign, we've completed our mission." God of Thunder and Heavenly King Li also smiled. God of Thunder and Heavenly King Li also pursed their lips and smiled. The people of the underworld and immortal region looked at Yi Zichen in confusion, then smiled meaningfully without saying anything. "Thank you for your hard work." The white-robed man smiled towards them. The white-robed man smiled at the crowd and brought them to a place not far from where the portal had landed. He tapped his finger lightly on the ground and created a few tables and chairs out of thin air. He gestured for them to sit down and asked, "How's the situation over there?" Everything went according to Sir's plan. Great Emperor Qingming smiled. Great Emperor Qingming pursed his lips and chuckled. "From what I saw, Black Dragon had already completely believed in the internal strife of the three realms. We've also completed Sky Sovereign's orders. Yang Jian and Neza will remain within the enemy ranks," said Heavenly King Li. The main reason why Yang Jian and Neza were kept in the realm of devils was that they were the most powerful actors in this show. Even if something unexpected happened, they would be able to protect themselves. Of course, there were also concerns, such as Yang Jian's stubbornness. Who knew if he would forget about his mission in the Demon Realms camp and start fighting with others? That's great, the white-robed man nodded in satisfaction. The white-robed man nodded and smiled in satisfaction. Bien frowned and couldn't help but ask, Sir, what should we do next? The demon realm is already attacking the cities outside the immortal region. Their next target should be the immortal region or the underworld. There's no hurry. The white-robed man waved his hand indifferently. He stood up from the chair and stretched lazily. Immediately, he glanced at the commoners who had come from the various cities to seek refuge. Even if the devil realm attacks the city, they will only get an empty city. Later, when all the city lords have arrived, we will discuss the follow-up matters. In the blink of an eye, before the white-robed man had even finished speaking, there was a flash of light at the point of impact. Countless commoners walked out from the landing point with blank eyes. Behind them were the city lords of the cities outside the immortal domain. City Lord Lin. The white-robed man walked up to greet them. However, before Yi Zichen could take a few steps, he saw Lin Xie stare at him as if she was looking at a monster. Lin Xie covered her mouth with her small hand and stammered for a long time without saying a word. When you said in the modern world that you had no choice, I thought you were some kid from a military compound. I didn't expect your background to be even more shocking than I thought. This sort of ladylike attire suits you better. Lin Xie, who was standing beside City Lord Lin, wore a light blue embroidered silk dress. She seemed strangely gentle after taking off her police uniform. Yi Zichen started the conversation with a familiar tone. Lin Xie covered her mouth in disbelief. It really is you. Why did you come here? You're really haunting me. Right at this moment, a sinister voice filled with piercing hostility rang out from the side. Zhao Ziming. When enemies met, their eyes would burn with hatred. What's more, it was an enemy who was a love rival. Ziming, don't be rude. As soon as Zhao Ziming said that, the young man in armor next to him tugged him hard and said, Sect Leader Yi, you might have had some conflicts with my brother-in-law in the modern realm, but no matter what, we are on the same side now. Please forgive me if I offended you. The young man who spoke was Zhao Ziming's older brother, Zhao Zizhao. He was the strongest general under Lin Shihe of Hundred Flower City, and was a late-stage sky immortal. The Lin family and the Zhao family had been friends for generations, and it could be traced back tens of thousands of years. The Zhao family had been generals of the Lin family for generations, and Lin Xie and Zhao Ziming's engagement had been set by the older generation. I'm not that petty, but everyone here is someone with status in their respective realms. Zhao Ziming wants to act presumptuously here, but honestly, his level isn't high enough. I hope General Zhao can discipline your little brother properly, Yi Zichen said with a fake smile. Everyone noticed the strange atmosphere, so Lin Shihe quickly tried to smooth things over. We're all on the same side, there's no need to be like this. We're all on the same side. There's no need to do this. Ziming, you and Xie go to the side. Zhao Ziming nodded, then grabbed Lin Xie's hand and intertwined his fingers, as if he was trying to show off to Yi Zichen. Under Lin Xie's unwilling gaze, Zhao Ziming dragged him away. Yi Zichen pursed his lips and smiled. Yi Zichen pursed his lips with a smile. Why don't I see the city lords of Maple City and Pool City? Yi Zichen pursed his lips with a smile. Their landing point is further away, so they might have arrived a bit later. The one who spoke was the city lord of Raging Flame City. Lin Shihe nodded in agreement. Yes, but all of the citizens have arrived. It's all thanks to Mr. for providing us with this dimensional space. If not for the war, the people of our cities would really not know what to do. That's what I'm supposed to do, the white-robed man smiled. The white-robed man smiled faintly. All the cities have arrived. I believe that Pool City and Maple City's castellans will arrive soon. Why don't we wait for them here? We'll do as Sir says. Thus, the city lords stood in front of the dimensional space and waited. Approximately 15 minutes later, the dimensional space flickered once more. Luo Wei walked out with a gloomy expression. Luo Yang was still trying to calm him down. What happened? Yi Zichen frowned. Luo Wei glanced at him in surprise, while Luo Yang exclaimed in surprise, "Brother Yi, you're fine." Luo Wei couldn't help but curse, "Brother Yi, you're fine. Why does City Lord Luo look so terrible? Did something happen?" Yi Zichen asked in a testing manner. Luo Wei couldn't help but curse, "There's definitely something wrong." "What is it? Get to the point," the white-robed man said solemnly. Luo Wei glanced at the others. "The people from Pond City didn't come, did they?" "No? Does it have something to do with Pond City?" asked the white-robed man. I knew they wouldn't come," Luo Wei snorted with a wry smile. Luo Wei snorted and smiled bitterly. "You can't say that it's related to Pool City. Something happened to Maple City too." "Then tell me." Luo Wei did not get to the point, causing Lin Shihe to panic. Chapter 679. Chapter 679. Pool City's City Lord Mansion, Qiu Yuan's bedroom. City Lord Qiu had already invited Qiu Yuan 3 times, but the door to his room was still closed. Creak. The door opened, and City Lord Qiu walked in with a frown. Before he could say anything, he saw that Qiu Yuan's room was in a mess. "What are you doing? Didn't you say that there's going to be a war soon and that we can't defend Pool City anymore? These are all treasures that I spent a lot of effort to find. I can't just throw them away," Qiu Yuan said as he sat on the floor, fiddling with the toys that looked like remote control planes and race cars. At the same time, he cursed, "The spatial ring is too small. I can't even bear to part with these treasures. Who should I take with me?" City Lord Qiu almost spat out a mouthful of blood when he heard this. He stepped forward and kicked the toys that Qiu Yuan had spent a lot of effort to tidy up. At the same time, he cursed, "Can't you let this old man worry less? Dad, what are you doing?" Qiu Yuan glared, and immortal king-level spiritual energy uncontrollably spread out from his body. To be honest, City Lord Qiu had already gotten used to it. However, his son was no longer the same as before. His immortal king-level strength was no joke. He was a little scared when he felt the terrifying spiritual energy pressure. "It took me a lot of effort to gather all of them together. I'll have to do it all over again with this kick of yours. All the people in the outer regions of the immortal region have left. Only our Pool City is left. You actually still have time to play with your trash, Hey, don't be angry. How about this? Your spatial ring doesn't seem to be used much. Take it out and give it to me. I'll tidy up my treasures." Qiu Yuan replied with a cheeky smile. City Lord Qiu glared at him and snorted. "Don't even think about it." An hour later, "Why didn't you just give me the ring earlier? Why must I snatch it from you? Seriously." Qiu Yuan squatted on the ground and tidied up the toys on the ground with a spatial ring in his hand. As for City Lord Qiu, he was tied to a chair by Qiu Yuan and had his spiritual energy sealed. "Brat, hurry up and let go of me!" City Lord Qiu shouted from his chair. Suddenly, footsteps came from outside the door. "It's not empty city. There's someone in this room. That's great. Let's go in and take a look. We can capture the person inside and report to Lord Black Dragon." Before he finished speaking, the person outside broke the door and entered. As expected, there are still survivors. A tendon-splitting hook suddenly appeared in the hand of the skinny demon at the door, and it hooked towards Qiu Yuan's neck. But before he could take 2 steps, crack! A crisp sound came from under his feet. Qiu Yuan, who was squatting on the ground, suddenly turned his head and saw with his own eyes that his toy had been trampled into pieces. He, you still dare to laugh? You're courting death." The skinny demon kicked the crushed toy to the corner. Qiu Yuan narrowed his eyes and a violent aura swept out from his body. "You destroyed my treasure. How dare you destroy my treasure?" Clatter. The demon who had stepped into the room gulped. He didn't even notice that the tendon-splitting hook in his hand had fallen to the ground. "It's a misunderstanding, a misunderstanding. Stay behind and pay for my treasure with your life." Bang. There was a huge explosion in the courtyard. The bald demon sovereign who was standing in the sky noticed this and immediately rushed over. Qiu Yuan stood in the air, clad in the flowing light battle armor and holding a flaming staff in his hand. In his left hand, he held a demonic world soldier that had been burnt to a crisp. He's one of your people, right? Compensate me. Yao. Control. Fly. Machine. City Lord Luo, calm down. The white-robed man smiled and patted his shoulder. Pool City has the chosen one, Qiu Yuan, guarding it. Although it's a little different from our plan, it won't affect us too much. It might even be more beneficial to us. What do you mean? Great Emperor Qingming was confused. The demon world thinks that they're the Oriole behind the mantis stalking the cicada. If they attack the cities only to find that they're all empty, it'll definitely arouse their suspicions. Pool City's stubborn resistance will instead make Black Dragon, who's cautious, think that it's only natural, the white-robed man replied with a smile. The white-robed man replied with a chuckle. The people around him couldn't help but nod, but then he spoke again. But Pool City has Qiu Yuan. Then Maple City. Demon world scum, release your grandpa go if you dare. I'll fight you one-on-one. In the luxurious meeting hall of the city lord's residence, a young man with a tuft of hair on his head was forced to kneel by several people. Even so, the beggar still glared at Black Dragon, who was sitting in front of him, with enmity in his eyes. Spirit of devouring mountains and rivers, what's your relationship with the spiritual monkeys of the Endless Beast region? Black Dragon held a cup of fragrant tea in his hand and muttered to himself as he spoke to the beggar. The people of the three realms really know how to enjoy themselves. But I didn't find such a treasure the last time I came here. You haven't even drunk tea before, what a bumpkin. The beggar kneeling on the ground couldn't help but sneer. A bag of jasmine for $2 makes you so beautiful. My boss Yi even invited me to drink Dahong Pao back then. Do you know what Dahong Pao is? It's even more expensive than lollipops. Dirt? Black Dragon abruptly placed the teacup on the table and stood up. He walked towards the beggar step by step. What do you want to do? You want to hit me? I'm telling you, I'm afraid of everything. The only thing I'm not afraid of is getting beaten up, the beggar snorted. Brat, tell me honestly while I'm in a good mood. Just what's your relationship with the spiritual monkeys? Why should I tell you? The beggar twitched his mouth. But I advise you to hurry up and release me. Otherwise, if my boss finds out that you captured me, then you won't have a good time. Boss? Tell me who your boss is. Heh, I'm afraid of scaring you to death if I tell you, the beggar snorted. I'm telling you, my boss is the sect master of Leisure House, sect master Yi Zichin. If you know what's good for you, then hurry up and… What? Yi Zichin? Black Dragon instantly raised his eyebrows, then revealed a sinister smile. Interesting, interesting. Luo Wei, describe to me the appearance of the person who fought against the demons in Maple City. Yi Zichin stared at Luo Wei nervously within the white-robed man's subdimension. Luo Wei looked at him in confusion. He did not understand why Yi Zichin would do something like that. I really didn't pay attention to that person's appearance, but he's rather unique. He has a hogue on his head, and has a lollipop in his mouth. Don't even mention how ferocious he is, or how many demons there are. He just charged in with a lollipop in his mouth while shouting something like, "Boss, I'm here to save you." It really is him. Yi Zichin couldn't help but face-bomb and sigh. The white-robed man also couldn't help but smile wryly. Chapter 680. A hidden traitor. Black Dragon, I really don't understand your actions. Within the city lord's estate of Maple City, Qiu Hai could only watch as Black Dragon respectfully invited the young beggar away. He also told them to treat him well and not to be rough with him. This was completely incomprehensible to an old devil like him who had long since regarded human life as worthless. Senior, you don't know. Black Dragon gestured for Qiu Hai to sit down with a smile. I forgot to tell you before that the Yellow Emperor hid the ley line. I did, Chiu Hai nodded. As the reincarnation of the Yellow Emperor, Yi Zichen definitely knows the location of the ley line. Since that brat is Yi Zichen's friend, then we might as well start with him and try to get the location of the ley line. Even if he isn't that important to Yi Zichen and the negotiation fails, it won't affect us at all if we kill him, right? He smiled and crossed his legs. Coincidentally, the messenger of the devil world walked in from outside the hall. How's the situation? Lord, the 9 cities in the outer regions of the immortal region, with the exception of Pond City, have all been captured by our devil dimension. The messenger knelt on one knee and replied. Black Dragon narrowed his eyes and nodded. Do we need to send troops to Pool City? We didn't receive any requests for reinforcements. And I understand. If you have nothing else to say, you may leave. I still have something to report. It's like this. According to the reports, all the cities outside the celestial region are empty. I think there's a possibility that, empty city? Black Dragon raised his eyebrows. That's understandable. The war between the immortal region and the underworld is so intense. They would naturally evacuate the mortals of the outside world. There's no need to worry about that. Yes. The messenger bowed and left the hall. However, Chiu Hai's wrinkled face remained solemn. Senior, are you worried about something? It's a little concerning that all of them are empty, but you're the one who initiated this operation, so you can decide for yourself. Chiu Hai glanced at him indifferently, then stood up from his chair. I'm a little tired. If there's nothing else, I'll go rest. Senior, take care. Black Dragon watched Chiu Hai leave with a smile on his face. However, the moment Chiu Hai disappeared from his sight, his smile turned dark. Lord Black Dragon, since you don't like him, why don't you just— A slightly chubby man in a green robe suddenly appeared in the hall. From his clothes, it could be concluded that he was not someone from the devil realm. He was also looking at where Chiu Hai had left, and he made a gesture with his hand on his neck. This old fellow isn't ordinary. I want to get rid of him, but I'll need an opportunity to do so. However, in this situation, he can still be considered useful. It's not a bad idea to keep him around for a while. At the same time, he pointed to a chair in the hall and gestured for the man to sit down. Why are you here? Didn't I say that we shouldn't act rashly before we succeed? Try this. We don't have it in the demon realm. That's why I said that you people from the 3 realms still know how to enjoy life. Occupying the land that originally belonged to us, the demon realm, the winner takes all. The demon realm did indeed lose back then, the chubby man sneered. Yongha Yu. Just as Black Dragon was about to speak, he saw the man on the chair frown. Watch your words. Fine, I made a mistake just now. But you're right, the winner takes all. The demon realm did indeed lose back then, but this time, Black Dragon, will definitely win. Black Dragon nodded. Hei Long nodded his head noncommittally. He drank the jasmine tea that cost $2 a bag, his expression filled with enjoyment. You don't need to be nervous. This is the territory of the Black Dragon. The people of the demon realm are not the people of the immortal region. Am I right? If it wasn't because of the situation, I really wouldn't want to work with you, the chubby man said with a dark expression. Don't be too happy. You're definitely going to win. It's still too early. I'd like to hear the details. Black Dragon made an inviting gesture. I'm here to tell you not to let your guard down. Do you really think the immortal region and underworld are fighting each other? Also, why are the cities outside the immortal region empty? What do you mean by that? You sent me a message saying that you succeeded on your side. That's why I came out in full force. Black Dragon's expression instantly darkened. A powerful pressure filled the room, and the silhouette of a black dragon could be faintly seen behind him. If you don't give me a reasonable explanation, I think there's no way for us to make peace. Retract your spiritual pressure. Don't you think it's very boring? The chubby man looked at him indifferently. We're in the same boat now. Do you think I have the leisure to be a double agent? Humph. Black Dragon didn't deny it, but he still did not retract his spiritual pressure. Black Dragon had already locked onto the chubby man. As long as Black Dragon wanted, he could instantly take the chubby man's life. Of course, that was under the premise that the chubby man didn't have any backup plans. All right, in order to not deepen the misunderstanding between us, I'll take some time to explain to you, the chubby man shrugged. The chubby man shrugged. Black Dragon said in a deep voice, I hope you can satisfy me. When I sent you a message, the immortal region and the underworld were indeed fighting amongst themselves, and it was a very fierce fight. The great sacred emperor equaling heavens acted at the same time and suppressed almost all of the higher-ups of the immortal region. It was also at that time that I sent you a message and told you to send your troop. But it was also at that time that a man suddenly appeared between the immortal region and the underworld. The chubby man stood up from his chair and said, That man used his own strength to resolve the conflict between the immortal region and the underworld. He even came up with a plan to lure you into a trap. I originally wanted to tell you, but it seems like that person is already suspicious of me, so I could only behave myself. Now that I see you walking step by step into his plan, I have no choice but to take the risk and come see you. Black Dragon's brows knitted together. He rubbed his chin with a hint of hesitation in his eyes. Should I believe you? It's up to you whether you want to believe me or not. I've already done my best by coming here. I need to hurry back now, in case they find out and become even more suspicious of me. The chubby man stood up from his chair and walked to the front of the hall with a smile. Let me give you a piece of advice. If you don't have any backup plans, it's best if you cancel this operation. Otherwise, your outcome will definitely be rather miserable. The man's departure was as sudden as his appearance. After he left, Black Dragon's lips curled into a smile and he said, Chapter 681. Whoosh. The night was hazy. The outskirts of the immortal region seemed especially cold after all the civilians had been evacuated. However, there was also a faint hint of solemnity within the coldness. When Yi Zichen looked out, he could see the demon riders patrolling around the city on their horned bulls. The normal soldiers also stood straight and guarded the city with a serious look in their eyes. Why did you only say half of what you wanted to say just now? Yi Zichen looked at the white-robed man in confusion in the sky. Yi Zichen could clearly feel that the white-robed man only said half of what he wanted to say in the subdimension. It was as if the white-robed man was avoiding someone and didn't want to reveal the entire plan. Some things can't be said completely. The white-robed man looked down at Maple City. The white-robed man stared at Maple City beneath his feet and said, Not everyone around us is on our side. You have to understand that this is a time of war. Everyone will do something. But you still said the rough plan. Could it be to catch fish? You're not stupid, the white-robed man smiled. The white-robed man pursed his lips and smiled. What I said just now was to lure the snake out of its hole. Fortunately, that guy really couldn't sit still and chose to take the risk to meet that black dragon guy. Yi Zichen's expression shook. He thought he'd already been careful enough. He thought that he had been careful enough, but he still didn't notice that someone had left. Who? Great Emperor Yonghe? The white-robed man shrugged casually. The white-robed man shrugged with a composed expression. He pointed at Maple City, which had become the Black Dragon's encampment, below the clouds. Great Emperor Yonghe just entered the city. That guy was actually telling the truth. Yi Zichen couldn't help but mutter. The white-robed man looked at him and raised his eyebrows. What? Did someone tell you to pay attention to Yonghe? Yi Zichen nodded. Do you remember when I told you about my trip to the immortal region? Didn't you tell me to pay attention to Yonghe? Actually, a friend from the God Realm also told me to pay attention to Yonghe. The white-robed man pretended to listen attentively. Yi Zichen frowned and said, What's wrong? Yi Zichen frowned, but I thought that Yonghe was connected to the God Realm, because the people from Yonghe Temple were very terrified when they saw Chui 12. I didn't expect him to be connected to Black Dragon. Ha! The white-robed man shook his head and smiled. He raised his head and looked ahead with a deep gaze. There are some things that I can't tell you right now. There are too many laws in this world that are restricting my existence. In the future, you will know why he knows the people from the Four-Way Palace and has a connection with the Black Dragon. You, Shu. The white-robed man stretched out his finger and pointed above their heads. There are people watching us from above. Don't speak carelessly, understand? Then why did you? I was just talking nonsense just now. I was just joking with you. Who knew that you would really think that way? His Majesty of the Four Directions Palace is a supreme existence in the God world. He is my idol. You are not allowed to slander him. The white-robed man grabbed Yi Zichen's collar with a smile. Don't just stand there. We have a mission this time. A middle-aged man wearing a golden dragon robe stood in front of a waterfall that poured down from the sky. The waterfall was completely still, and an image was being played on the waterfall in front of him. It was Yi Zichen and the white-robed man. At that moment, an elder who looked like the Turtle Prime Minister of the East Sea appeared beside him. Your Majesty, His Highness 17th, has come out of seclusion. Whoosh! The condensed image shattered, and the waterfall that pierced through the sky resumed its normal operation once more. His Highness 17th has come out. The middle-aged man in dragon robes spoke in a deep tone. His tone gave off an aura of authority without being angry. When he turned around, anyone who saw him would feel that you would not be able to see his face at all. You would only be able to see his amber eyes. Anyone who saw those eyes couldn't help but feel respect, submission, and even fear. He was His Majesty of the Four Directions Palace, one of the three heads of the God Realm, Bayan. She came out 3 days earlier than I expected. Bayan smiled, then raised his eyebrows. Where is she now? The 17th Highness went straight to the 12th Highness's palace after coming out of seclusion. It's not strange that the two Highnesses are close. However, what I found strange was that the 9th Highness also went to the 12th Highness's palace. You should know that among these princes, His 9th Highness has the worst relationship with these two princes. The Turtle Prime Minister stroked his mustache with a sharp glint in his eyes. There might be something fishy going on. How could there be so much fishy going on between kids? It's a good thing that OL 9 and the 17th Highness are on good terms. Don't worry too much, advisor. Your Majesty, please punish this subordinate for speaking out of turn. Prime Minister Turtle kept slapping his mouth, and cold sweat suddenly appeared on his face. His already hunched body bent even lower, and his whole body shivered. Don't worry, advisor, Bayan smiled. He put his hand on the Turtle Prime Minister's shoulder, then transferred a strand of spiritual energy into his body. Such a nice heavenly advisor is actually breaking out in cold sweat. When you have time, you should find a doctor to check on you. Thank you for your concern, Your Majesty. The Turtle Prime Minister was still trembling as he answered. Bayan nodded and turned back. It just so happens that advisor is here. I have something to trouble advisor with. Please tell me, Your Majesty. I found 2 interesting fellows in the lower 3 realms. One of them isn't from our dimension. I don't know what method he used to conceal himself from the heavens, but he suppressed his strength to around the sky supreme level. Your Majesty, you mean he isn't from our dimension? Yes. I don't know which dimension he came from, but his true strength shouldn't be much weaker than mine. He might even be stronger than me. Bayan chuckled in a calm tone, but the news that the Turtle Prime Minister heard was like thunder. Stronger than His Majesty. Bayan was already a peak existence in the God realm. If he was stronger than him, Your Majesty, you want me? The Turtle Prime Minister didn't sound confident. His strength was actually only at the Earth Supreme level. Facing someone stronger than His Majesty, a sneeze from the other party could kill him. I want advisor to investigate his background. Although he suppressed his strength to the supreme level, he is still an existence that destroys the balance of the lower three realms. But to the lower realm, it is still an existence that destroys the balance. If possible, please persuade him to leave. Gulp. The turtle prime minister couldn't help but swallow his saliva. This really made him. Advisor, what's wrong? Don't you want to complete the task I gave you? If you think it's too difficult, I can instruct. Chapter 682. Sky Supreme Lu Qingxi was still in front of the waterfall. Compared to when she was talking to the turtle minister, there were a few more chairs around the waterfall. Lao Ai faced the river and looked at the surging clear water, pondering in silence. Rustle. The sound of footsteps on the rocks was drowned out by the rushing water. Lu Qing was wearing a faint purple robe, and the flame mark on her forehead glowed faintly. Cui 12, who had just returned from the immortal region, and Bien Tianrui, who was purposely walking half a step behind her with a smile on his face. The golden robe. Lu Qing's eyes widened when she saw the robe Bian was wearing. Cui 12 and Bien Tianrui reacted the same way. The robe with the golden dragon imprinted on it was the first time His Majesty had worn it. Dueling Taotai. The golden robe had a special meaning to Bian, and he actually wore it again. Your Majesty, you were looking for me? Lu Qing's tone was rather cold. She stopped when she was about 10 meters behind Bian, and stood there with her hands by her side. Look at that boulder. Bian pointed at a boulder that weighed at least 5,000 kilograms. The history of the boulder could no longer be traced back. All they knew was that it had a long history, and was feared by 90% of the people in the God realm. Crack, crack, crack. The moment Bian's voice faded, a crack appeared on the boulder that stood under the waterfall. The crack grew larger and larger with the force of the waterfall. Until, boom, the entire boulder shattered, and the waterfall in the sky became even more turbulent. The broken rocks of the boulder were mercilessly washed away by the water. Lao Ai, who had been facing the waterfall, turned around at this moment and indifferently looked at the two uninvited people beside Lu Qing. Sit. Yes. Lu Qing and the other two sat down with different thoughts in their minds. They were all thinking about the scene of the boulder shattering. However, they didn't know why Bian wanted them to see that. 17. You actually didn't come find me after coming out of seclusion. That makes me very sad. Bian smiled, but there was no hint of reprimand on his face. Lu Qing smiled, then heard Bian speak again. You became a Sky Supreme? I was lucky enough to break through to first stage Sky Supreme. Lu Jing instantly stood up from her chair. Bian gestured for her to sit down, then turned to Cui 12 and Bien Tianrui. Look, 17 is the youngest out of all of you, and the last to enter the palace. But she has already broken through to the heavenly supreme realm. Look at you. Sister 17 is very talented. Only the 2nd and 6th Majesty can compare to her, Cui 12 answered with a smile. 12th brother is right, Bien Tianrui nodded. Old 9th. When Bien Tianrui noticed his gaze, he immediately stood up from his chair and gulped. Here, Your Majesty. What's the result of Mount Supreme? Please forgive me, Your Majesty. Plop. Bien Tianrui immediately knelt on the ground and kowtowed. Do you still remember the military order you made that day? Bian didn't even look at him. Even though Bien Tianrui's head was bleeding, his expression did not change at all. Your Majesty, please calm down. This matter, the middle? The entire upper three realms knows that I only look at results. Bian looked coldly at Bien Tianrui, who was covered in blood. Bian looked coldly at Bien Tianrui, whose head was covered in blood. Ol 9, you just need to tell me if you got anything? Your Majesty! Your Majesty! Bien Tianrui begged with a trembling voice. Bian nodded, then slowly raised his hand. Your Majesty, please let 9th brother go. At that moment, Lu Jing suddenly stood up from her chair and knelt beside Bien Tianrui, then looked at Bien Tianrui with bright eyes. She looked at Bayan with bright eyes. The seniors of Mount Supreme had already said that Mount Supreme, including all the treasures inside, would be left to the Chosen One. Ninth brother didn't want to meet the Chosen One on Mount Supreme. 17. Are you pleading for him? Bayan stood up from his chair and walked in front of Lu Jing. His golden robe was especially eye-catching under the sunlight. Lu Qing bit her lips hard and buried her head deep into the ground. Your Majesty, please calm down. Suddenly, Bayan raised his hand once again. Both Lu Jing and Bien Tianrui, who were kneeling on the ground, and Cui 12 were shocked. Your Majesty, get up. Little 17, you know that I dote on you, so you're purposely making things difficult for me, right? All right, I'll spare old Ninth's death sentence for your sake, but he can't escape punishment. Bayan looked at Bien Tianrui after helping Lu Jing up. The Trade Department has been lacking some manpower recently. Go and gain some experience. Thank you for sparing my life, Your Majesty. Bien Tianrui's body was completely drenched in cold sweat, and his face was completely pale. He kowtowed while trembling. Bayan snorted, If you want to thank someone, thank 17. If it wasn't for her pleading for you, do you think I would let a piece of trash like you live? 17. Thank. You can't even speak properly. It's annoying listening to you. Piss off. Bang. A palm energy sent Bien Tianrui flying 100 meters away. At that moment, Bayan retracted his cold expression and smiled towards Cui 12. 12, you called me just now. Ahem, Your Majesty. Your subject has already been to the immortal domain's Yonghe Temple, but I did not see great Emperor Yonghe. However, judging from the behavior of the people of Yonghe Temple, they still maintain their supreme reverence for Your Majesty. Bayan nodded with a smile. All right, Cui 12 replied succinctly. Is there anything else? Yes. Cui 12 nodded. When this subject returned from the immortal region, the lower three realms were in a state of internal strife. Your Majesty, should we? What does it have to do with me whether they fight or not? 12th, during your vacation, you still know to gather information for me. Although it's of no benefit to me, it's still worthy of praise. Here's a fortune pill. It'll help you break through to the 5th stage Earth Supreme. Take it. An exquisite bottle was thrown into Cui 12's hands. Cui 12 thanked him profusely before putting the bottle into his pocket. I shall not disturb Your Majesty and 17th sister any further. I shall take my leave. Bayan shook his head as he watched Cui 12 leave, then turned his gaze to Lu Jing. The fire spirit art is indeed suitable for you. You have actually cultivated the natal true flame. Your talent is comparable to that of your second and sixth brother. Lu Qing smiled as she stroked the flame mark between her brows. I'm still far from second brother and sixth brother. It's good to be humble, but it's not good to be too humble. Lao Ai said in a reproachful yet comforting tone, All right, it's been hard on you this time. Tell me, what reward do you want? As long as I can do it, I will satisfy you. Your Majesty, I do have a request. Speak. Chapter 683. Discuss a little plan. Everything seemed to have come to a standstill. The waterfall that was pouring down in torrents stopped moving. The leaves of the willow tree by the river also stopped in midair. Everything in this space had stopped obeying the rules it should follow. And the cause of all this was, my apologies, but I must decline. He walked over to Lu Jing's side, stepping lightly on the gravel. I can't fulfill your request. Go think of a new wish. When you've thought of one, come find me here. Your Majesty. Before Lu Jing could finish speaking, Bayan raised his hand. Lu Jing remained where she was, but she moved further and further away from Bayan. Only when she disappeared from Bayan's line of sight did the space once again return to its original rules. It's been 10,000 years. It's still been 10,000 years since anyone has dared to bargain with me. Have I spoiled her too much? Bayan suddenly let out a long sigh. Then he looked at the pouring waterfall and shook his head. But the two of you are just too alike. If you were here, you would definitely be very surprised, Qing Yao. Your Majesty. At that moment, a timid voice came from behind Bian. Bian turned around and saw a girl in black robes standing in front of him. Her expression was timid, and her face was filled with nervousness. What's the result of the Yellow Emperor's investigation on Xianyuan? The girl's expression clearly froze at the mention of this. She bit her lip and shook her head forcefully. Her body hunched as she answered. There's no news. Is that so? Bian chuckled in a seemingly casual manner. You should know that the entire Jili's hopes rest on you. I know, the girl replied, sobbing. It's good that you know. I have to remind you. My patience has its limit. Bring me news of the Yellow Emperor's Xianyuan as soon as possible. When the time comes, not only will I help you fuse with your second soul, I'll also release your clansmen. You're good and I'm good. Understood? With that, Bian looked back at the waterfall and said, Go do what you need to do. With that, Bian looked at the waterfall again. Lu Jing only stopped after retreating for a full kilometer. However, her feet had not moved from the beginning to the end. The scene in front of her was no longer the waterfall. As far as the eye could see, there were countless towering mountains. At this moment, she was at the foot of the mountains, surrounded by individual houses. Beside her, there were servants constantly sweeping the white stone tiles beneath her feet. Your Highness. The attendants all greeted Lu Jing respectfully when they saw her. At the same time, Cui 12 and Bien Tianrue, who had come out earlier, walked towards her. Bien Tianrue's injuries had already mostly healed. As a Highness of the Four Directions Palace, he naturally didn't have to worry about not having someone to take care of his injuries. Well, did His Majesty agree? Lu Qing shook her head indifferently. Her face was filled with loneliness. Don't worry too much. Cui 12 kept consoling her. Actually, it's fine even if you don't go down. Lu Jing looked up and stared straight at Bien Tianrue. Continue. Actually, Cui 12 and Lu Jing couldn't help but widen their eyes. Are you telling the truth? Lu Jing squinted her eyes and stared straight at Bien Tianrue. Actually, I'm not too sure either, Bien Tianrue replied carefully. Lu Jing frowned. Then where did you get this information from? I can't say, Bien Tianrue shook his head. Lu Jing looked at him deeply, then waved her hand. All right, I understand. All right, I got it. You can go now. Cui 12 couldn't help but ask after sending Bien Tianrue off. You believe what he said? I'd rather believe it than not. Brother 12, help me keep an eye on what's going on over there. If there's anything strange, tell me immediately. Seriously, I really don't see anything good about that brat for you to act like this. Cui 12 shook his head, then moved closer to her ear. Cui 12 shook his head, then whispered into her ear, Your Majesty knows of his existence, but you don't know that he's the reincarnation of the Yellow Emperor. You need to know that no one that His Majesty sets his eyes on has a good ending. Be careful, don't let His Majesty take his anger out on you. I know all that. I'll have to trouble Brother 12 with the information. Lu Jing cupped her hands towards Cui 12, then walked into a courtyard without looking back. Cui 12 shook his head helplessly with a wry smile. I just have a tiring life. Didn't Luo Wei say that Pool City fought with the demons? Isn't it way too quiet? I can't sense any demonic aura at all. Is he lying to us? Yi Zichen and the white-robed man stood in the sky and looked down at Pool City. Hearing that, the white-robed man knocked Yi Zichen's head. Why would a smart person ask such a question? The fact that there aren't any demons means that they've already fought. The demons just sent their army, so attacking cities is their main goal. All the cities are guarded by the demons, but Pool City isn't. It's clear that Qiu Yuan and company forced them to retreat. Force them to retreat? Don't underestimate the strength of an immortal king. You'll understand when you get there, the white-robed man replied. The white-robed man replied calmly. At this moment, a piercing sound rang out. Qiu Yuan, clad in armor and holding two swords, stood proudly above the city lord's mansion. You still dare to act rashly? Are you itching for a beating again? That person. City Lord Chiu took a closer look before raising his hand and hammering Chiu Yuan's head. Put down your weapon. As soon as he finished speaking, City Lord Chiu hurried over to greet the white-robed man respectfully. Sir! How have you been, Elder Chiu? The white-robed man smiled. City Lord Chiu hurriedly nodded. It's all right, it's all right. It's just that this unfilial son kept advising against it and delayed Sir's plan. It's fine. It's better this way. As long as it doesn't interfere with Milord's plan. Only then did City Lord Chiu let out a sigh of relief. When Chiu Yuan rushed over, he couldn't help but roll his eyes. Dad, who is he? He even covered his face with a mosaic. Brother Yi, why are you here? Don't be rude. City Lord Chiu frowned, scaring Chiu Yuan into shrinking his neck. Although Chiu Yuan was stronger, he couldn't just walk out of City Lord Chiu's tyranny in a short period of time. What's more, this was the traditional virtue of Huaxia. Respect the elderly. Respect the elders. Respect the parents. All of that. I can't lose them. This is the first time I've met Chiu Yuan, but we've actually interacted before. For example, the armor you're wearing is something I've used before. F***ck, I've never seen you give me anything good before. Yi Zichen couldn't help but mutter on the side. I'll take it off for you. Chiu Yuan immediately took it off. Chiu Yuan did not even think about it and was about to take off the battle armor. The white-robed man quickly stopped him and said, This is for you. He has his own battle armor. Yeah, you can keep it for yourself. An armor that Sir used is definitely not an ordinary item. Why did I give birth to such a dumb son like you? City Lord Chiu rolled his eyes, then turned to the white-robed man with a smile. Sir, I wonder. Chapter 684. Chiu Yuan's story. City Lord Chiu personally brewed a pot of fragrant tea and poured a cup for the white-robed man. Please enjoy. Sorry to trouble you, City Lord Chiu. The white-robed man accepted the cup with a smile. The city lord's mansion was in a mess. As far as the eye could see, traces of fighting could be seen everywhere. Looks like it was a very intense fight. What's so intense about it? It was just a one-sided beating. Chiu Yuan took a piece of tea from the table and put it in his mouth. Those bastards actually crushed my most beloved remote control plane. They even found a lot of helpers in the middle, but I knocked them all down. Chiu Yuan's expression gradually became excited as he spoke. He pointed at the old locust tree in the courtyard. See that old locust tree? It was knocked down by those bastards from the demon realm. To be honest, I don't understand why we had to run. They didn't seem strong, so we should have just fought them. Slap. City Lord Chiu, who was beside him, smacked his head. Chiu Yuan asked in confusion. Why did you hit me again? Wasn't what I said the truth? Just now, did I put down a group of devils by myself? You still have the cheek to say that? The old city lord trembled in anger. If it wasn't for your trash, we would have gone to Mister's dimensional space long ago. You're lucky we didn't ruin Mister's plan. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to redeem yourself even if you died 100 times. What trash? Those are my treasures. Chiu Yuan wasn't too happy to say that those treasures were trash. City Lord Chiu, please don't blame Chiu Yuan. The white-robed man pursed his lips and smiled. Then, he looked at Chiu Yuan and said, Perhaps to you, the demon realm soldiers are very weak. However, to the commoners in your city or the villages outside your city, they are existences that they must look up to. Letting the people inside and outside the city evacuate is to protect them. What's more, Chiu Yuan, ask yourself honestly. If it wasn't for them crushing your treasure, would you even care about them? I don't think so. The white-robed man's tone was very calm. Chiu Yuan hesitated for a while, but didn't say anything to defend himself. Indeed, after experiencing Senior Duan's wisdom imbuement, His strength had undergone a qualitative leap, and he could even look down upon the entire three realms. However, his nature was not aggressive. For example, when the people of the Devil Realm entered the city, his keen senses had detected them the moment they stepped through the city gate, but he had no desire to fight them. He just wanted to keep the treasure and run away with his father. His enmity towards the Devil World was not because he had lofty sentiments and wanted to protect his country. It was just that they had broken his treasure. This kind of anger came and went quickly. Perhaps, after a few more hours, he would no longer want to pay attention to the people of the Devil World. The white-robed man had long since grasped his temperament very well. Yi Zichen gave Yi Zichen a meaningful glance, causing him to stand up from his chair. "Let's go out and talk." With that, Yi Zichen walked towards the door. Qiu Yuan hesitated for a moment, before following behind him. "Sir, do you think Sect Master Yi can succeed?" City Lord Qiu had lived for a long time, and he was very experienced. There was no way he wouldn't know what Yi Zichen wanted to do by calling Qiu Yuan out. Not only did he not object to Qiu Yuan's participation in the battle, he actually approved of it wholeheartedly. From City Lord Qiu's point of view, protecting the country was his duty. Since Qiu Yuan had the strength to change the situation, then he naturally had to help. "Old City Lord Qiu, don't tell me you don't know your son?" The white-robed man smiled at Yi Zichen and Qiu Yuan. "Yes, I will. I will convince him. I haven't had the chance to congratulate you for inheriting Senior Duan's inheritance and breaking through to the Immortal King level." Yi Zichen pursed his lips with a smile. Qiu Yuan smiled as well, then smiled wryly. "What's there to congratulate me about? What's there to congratulate? Strength represents responsibility. I'd rather be like before, with a weak spiritual body cultivation. That way, no matter what happens, I can always be the person who enjoys the shade. If the sky falls, there will be someone taller to hold it up. But now, I've become the taller one." With a faint sigh, Qiu Yuan took a few steps forward and sat on a piece of rock. He looked up at the full moon in the sky. "I know why Brother Yi asked me to come out. You want me to help, right?" Yi Zichen nodded noncommittally. "I do want you to contribute, but it's not absolute. I can't use righteous reasons to force you to participate in this. To be honest, I'm quite close to the white-robed man. Although he always appears to be very relaxed, I've secretly noticed that he often sighs. It's obvious that the Devil Realm's actions this time have made him quite distressed. That's only natural. The demon world has millions of soldiers bearing down on us. The ones that came are all elite. Even if the three realms work together to deal with it, they might not end up well." Qiu Yuan let out a soft sigh. "Although I'm an immortal king, I'm still only at the first stage. On the surface, the Devil Realm only has one immortal king-level black dragon. But since they were able to live under the noses of the three realms for so long, is there really only one immortal king?" "Qiu Yuan, you're making me look at you in a different light." Yi Zichen shook his head with a smile. He had originally thought that Qiu Yuan was just a little spoiled brat, but his words had changed his mind. "Ha! Do you know why my father has such high hopes for me? Back when my older brother was still around, I always looked up to him as a role model. I've memorized the art of war and formations since I was young. I trained my body at the age of 4, then spiritual guidance at the age of 6. It could be said that my talent back then was comparable to Yuan Qingtian's. Back then, there was a war and my older brother was fighting outside. I wanted to quickly succeed in my cultivation, then follow my older brother out and share his burden, until one day, only my father returned. I asked him where my older brother was, and he said that my older brother would be back after a while. I worked even harder so that my older brother could see how amazing I was when he returned. However, I heard the servants talking about how my older brother died in battle." With that, Qiu Yuan's eyes started to tear up, while his tone gradually turned solemn. I didn't ask my father about it after I heard it. However, from that day onwards I started to hate war. I started to hate everything that could cause war. The art of war, formations, and cultivation. I hate them all. I don't want to be like my older brother, who died on the battlefield and never got his corpse back. My father did not shed a single tear, and the soldiers gradually forgot about him. However, they all forgot that it was my older brother who used his life to bring them back from the battlefield alive. Marry a wife, have children, and get promoted. Chapter 685. To Pool City. In the dark room, the black dragon sat cross-legged on the bed, its body emitting a faint gray fluorescence. Without the appearance of the dragon's vein, his ninth stage celestial king strength had stagnated a long time ago. Even so, he did not give up on his initial goal. As long as he had the time, he would circulate a few times to consolidate his strength. After completing another minor cycle, he exhaled a mouthful of turbid air. He slowly walked down from the bed and opened the door. Li Min-yi was waiting outside the door. What happened? My lord, Tennyson is injured. He's currently in the conference hall. Senior Chiu Hai is currently treating him. Li Min-yi replied with a calm expression. Black Dragon nodded indifferently. Let's go and take a look. The meeting hall was brightly lit, and several demon lords of the Devil Realm stood on both sides of the hall with their hands clasped behind their back. In the middle of it all, the bald demon lord lay on the ground with a dispirited expression. There were several frightening wounds on his body. Chiu Hai continued to pour spiritual energy into the bald demon sovereign's body as he watched the bald demon sovereign's weak aura. If it wasn't for Chiu Hai's spiritual energy, he might have already died. Lord Black Dragon. When the demon supremacies in the meeting hall saw Black Dragon, they all bowed to him. He's actually injured so badly. Black Dragon walked in front of the bald demon sovereign, causing Chiu Hai to subconsciously move his hand away. Without the infusion of spiritual power, the bald demon venerable looked like a patient in a hospital who had lost his oxygen tank. His face was full of pain. I can't believe someone broke his energy sea. After examining the bald demon sovereign for a while, the black dragon shook his head and sighed. Even if you're cured, you'll still be a cripple. Tennyson, since we've worked together for so many years, I'll grant you a quick death. Tennyson, who was lying on the ground, seemed to understand the black dragon's thoughts. His strong desire to live made him shake his head violently, but the black dragon did not hesitate. Bang! A palm imprinted on his forehead. The bald demon sovereign died instantly, and all the other demon sovereigns in the conference hall raised their eyebrows, but none of them dared to show any dissatisfaction or indignation. Killing an old friend with my own hands, what a heartache! Although he said that, there was no reluctance on his face. The corpse of the bald demon sovereign was left in the middle of the meeting hall, and no one took care of it. Black Dragon walked over to a chair and sat down. He glanced at the higher-ups of the demon realm in the room. Tennyson probably went to Pool City. Yes. A man with a feminine expression walked out from the group of demon sovereigns. He was also the leader of this group of demon sovereigns. An expert with the strength of an immortal king has appeared in Shaoqi City. Our Devil World soldiers have lost over 1,000 people, and nearly 10,000 are injured. Black Dragon raised his eyebrows and narrowed his eyes at the effeminate man in front of him. Are you sure he's an immortal king? This subordinate. The feminine-looking man's confidence faltered under Black Dragon's questioning. Tennyson is a complete stage sky immortal. To be able to destroy his Chi-Si without him being able to fight back, he definitely has the strength of an immortal king. How could I not know that another immortal king has been born in the three realms? Wasn't the ley line hidden by the Yellow Emperor? Logically speaking, sky immortals and immortal kings can't break through. Did the Yellow Emperor tell them the location of the ley line? Black Dragon's expression darkened. Chiu Hai glanced at him. We don't even know if the ley line has appeared or not. What's important right now is that another immortal king has appeared in the immortal region, and even caused our demon sovereigns to die in battle. We need you, the leader, to deal with this. A faint smile appeared on Black Dragon's face. He wanted nothing more than to tear Qiu Hai into a million pieces. He was the leader of the demon realm of the lower three realms. But ever since this old man appeared, he had challenged his authority more than once. If it wasn't for the fact that this old man was still somewhat useful, Black Dragon unclenched his fist, and the gloominess on his face disappeared. He nodded towards everyone with a warm smile. Senior Qiu Hai is right. Senior Qiu Hai is right. We can't just let Tennyson die like this. Fellow demon sovereigns, what do you think we should do? Tennyson was like a comrade to us. We must take revenge. That's right. So what if he's an immortal king? As long as our demon realm army crushes over, who cares if he's an immortal king or a dog king? He'll all die. Revenge. That's right, revenge. The demon sovereigns in the conference hall all spoke at once. The only ones who didn't speak were the two female demon sovereigns. Hua Kuei Min Eu, I just need to follow Lord Black Dragon's orders. Hua Kuei twisted her slender waist with a seductive smile. Even the demon sovereigns who had worked with her for many years couldn't help but feel a fire ignite in their hearts when they saw her alluring appearance. I'm not that close to Tennyson, but if Lord Black Dragon needs me to go, I can go. Li Min Yi's expression was still as calm as ever. Li Min Yi's expression was still as calm as ever, but the other demon sovereigns in the meeting hall were enraged. Li Min Eu, what is it? Li Min Yi looked at them indifferently. Do you have a problem with that? A faint pressure was released from her body, and the moment this pressure was released, the surrounding people all shut their mouths and remained silent. Half a step into the immortal king realm. This was Li Min Yi's strength. And this was even without the ley line, yet she still managed to reach this stage. With this kind of talent, if she had the ley line, she might have become an immortal king long ago. Black Dragon should be thankful that the ley line didn't exist. He had been famous for a long time, and had the strength of a demon king before the ley line disappeared. However, the demon realm produced quite a few good seedlings after that. If the ley line existed, he might have to hand over the strongest faction in the demon realm to someone else. If he encountered some ambitious ones, he might even have to give up his position. All right, Min Yi, you don't have to go if you don't want to, Black Dragon smiled. Black Dragon said with a smile, we do need someone to guard our base, but we have to avenge Tennyson. Just like that, Hua Kuei and Min Yi will guard Maple City. The other demon sovereigns will return to their respective cities. Senior Qiu Hai and I will make a trip to Pool City. With that, Black Dragon looked at Qiu Hai with a probing gaze. Senior Qiu Hai? Since you need me, I will naturally not decline, Qiu Hai replied generously. Qiu Hai replied generously. Black Dragon smiled gratefully, but he felt even more resentful towards Qiu Hai. Black Dragon knew very well what kind of person Qiu Hai was. Qiu Hai was purposely acting like he knew the ways of the world. Clearly, he was doing it for his subordinate. Life in the demon realm above isn't going your way, so you want to come down here and enjoy yourself. My position isn't that easy to take away. Black Dragon continuously cursed in his heart, but he still maintained that warm smile on his face. After giving his orders, Black Dragon bowed towards Qiu Hai and gestured for him to leave. Chapter 686. Personal Feelings and Righteousness in the courtyard of the City Lord's Manor in Pool City. The atmosphere in the courtyard turned strangely heavy and oppressive after Qiu Yuan finished speaking. Yi Zichen sighed. It wasn't that he couldn't understand Qiu Yuan's thoughts. If they were discussing it from the perspective of a friend, then he didn't want Qiu Yuan to get involved. But more importantly, he wasn't trying to comfort Qiu Yuan as a friend. Yi Zichen scratched his head, then subconsciously took out a cigarette and put it in his mouth. Green smoke floated into the sky along with the dim moonlight. Qiu Yuan also clenched his fist as he sat on the gravel in the courtyard. Neither of them spoke, and only the faint sighs of the two could be heard. Not worth it, indeed not worth it. Hearing that, Chiao Yuan couldn't help but explain, Boss Yi, I'm not targeting you, I just, understood. Yi Zichen raised his hand to stop Chiao Yuan, then put down the cigarette in his hand, and stood like a statue in the not-so-quiet night. I won't force you. Since you think it's not worth it, then it's not worth it. That was what Yi Zichen said after thinking about it for a long time. Actually, there were countless righteous words that he could say in his mind. Worth or not wasn't that one-sided. What's more, there were some things that shouldn't be used to determine whether you should do it or not. Instead, you had to do it at a time like this. There was no time to consider the pros and cons. As for the outcome, who cares if it's worth it or not? It was just like how Chiao Yuan's older brother's death wasn't worth it to Chiao Yuan. What he didn't know was that it was worth it to Chiao Yuan's older brother. Quelling the war and protecting his beloved little brother and family, he had no regrets even if he died. That was worth it. At the end of the day, worth or not was based on the person's thoughts. If it was very important to him, then even if it wasn't worth it, it was still worth it to him. Conversely, it was the same. Now that Chiao Yuan already felt that participating in the demon-slaying war wasn't worth it, so what could he say? If it was worth it, then it was worth it. If it wasn't, then it wasn't. The cigarette in Yi Zichen's hand fell to the ground. Yi Zichen put it out with his foot, then walked into the city lord's manor. Chiao Yuan stood there in a daze. His lips moved, but he didn't say a single word. Failed. The white-robed man smiled the moment Yi Zichen entered the room. Yi Zichen nodded noncommittally, then sat down on a chair with an indifferent expression. City Lord Chiao's expression froze when he heard their conversation. Sir, didn't you say that my son would definitely? Is there really a father like you? Before City Lord Chiao finished, Yi Zichen suddenly got angry. Chiao Yuan didn't want to participate, so why did you force him to participate? As a father, I shouldn't protect my son. He's your only son. What if he dies in battle? My Chiao family has protected the celestial realm for generations. Regardless of life or death, even if our family is destroyed, we will still not hesitate. City Lord Chiao's expression was filled with righteousness, but in Yi Zichen's eyes, it was indescribably laughable. Humans are selfish, especially in this chaotic world. Who was he trying to impress by putting on such a righteous expression? What a good no matter what. Then don't force Chiao Yuan to fight. Why don't you take the lead? Why not? City Lord Chiao's expression did not change at all. Seeing that, Yi Zichen's expression froze for a moment, then he smiled wryly. Indeed, a fool like City Lord Chiao was needed at a time like this. Otherwise, if everyone was in danger and didn't want to stand out, then how was the three realms supposed to be protected? Yi Zichen didn't retort. The white-robed man also smiled, then apologized to City Lord Chiao. Yi Zichen might have gone overboard. I hope City Lord Chiao doesn't mind. The white-robed man smiled and apologized to City Lord Chiao. How could I? It's true that idiots like me are hard to find in this chaotic world. City Lord Chiao laughed in self-mockery. But the one I care about is Chiao Yuan. To be honest, I really don't want him to participate in this selfishly. It's just like how his older brother shouldered everything in order to keep him away from the chaos of war. After what happened to Boss, I really don't want to see him die before me. If it wasn't for the current crisis, I really wanted him to continue being a spoiled brat. But right now I need his strength. City Lord Chiao's expression was conflicted. It was clear that he was conflicted. In the current situation, he had to give up on either his personal feelings or the greater good. After countless conflicts, he chose to give up on his personal feelings. Although his heart hurt, he remained resolute. Let him think about it. The white-robed man smiled, then signaled City Lord Chiao to calm down, then stood up from his chair. Chiao Yuan, who had been eavesdropping outside, hurriedly dodged. The white-robed man also looked at the sky outside with a smile. Guests are here. Black Dragon and Chiu Hai stood side by side in the sky above Pool City. Senior Chiu Hai, how is it? Black Dragon looked over. Chiu Hai squinted his eyes and frowned. It's a very strong pressure. It seems like it's normal for your subordinate to be so heavily injured. There are a total of 4 people in the city. The complete stage Sky Immortal and mid-stage Sky Immortals are nothing to worry about. What I'm more concerned about are the 2 presences. Black Dragon frowned. He had been famous for a long time, no ordinary person was able to make him feel pressured. One of the other 2 should be the Immortal King who just ascended, Chiu Hai smiled. Just ascended? Black Dragon's eyes trembled. How can a newly ascended Immortal King feel such pressure? This feeling is at least that of a late-stage Immortal King, a rank 7 Immortal King. Enlightenment, Chiu Hai smiled. Didn't Mount Supreme appear in the Immortal region a while ago? That's the inheritance of Duan Gu from the God realm. Duan Gu wasn't weak back then, and he was rather famous in the God, Yao, and Demon realms. This young man should have received his inheritance. He's quite lucky. Duan Gu has been dead for thousands of years, and countless people from the God realm and Yao realm have wanted to obtain his inheritance. I didn't expect it to fall into this young man's hands. I see. Then, Black Dragon nodded in understanding, then asked with a frown. As for the other pressure, you should have seen him before, Chiu Hai smiled. I've seen him before? Black Dragon was confused. When had he ever met such an expert? That deep pressure was suffocating him. Just as he was trying to recall when he had seen such an expert, 3 figures suddenly flew out of Pool City. The one at the front was a white-robed man. His clothes were whiter than snow, and he had a warm smile on his face. Chapter 687. Chiu Hai. That faint greeting caused Black Dragon's heart to tremble. He hadn't even sensed that someone was coming towards them. He could even sense Chiu Hai clearly. Just who was this person? He could ignore his senses and give off such a strong sense of pressure. Black Dragon raised his eyebrows and glanced forward. His pupils suddenly froze. This person must have planned this. I'm truly sorry for not going out to welcome you. Why have you come to Pond City? Why don't we talk in the front hall? The white-robed man gestured. Chiu Hai couldn't help but smile. I didn't think that you still haven't returned to the higher realms. Are those guys from the God realm challenging the laws? What are you saying? You haven't returned yet, so why should I? The white-robed man's eyes were accompanied by a gentle smile. His expression was filled with disdain towards him. Chiu Hai's expression changed when he saw the white-robed man's gaze. You coward, yet you dare to act like this in front of me? Looks like I need to remind you of what happened back then, the white-robed man sneered. That's right. If you 2 fight, I can just sit back and reap the benefits. It just so happens that the Yellow Emperor's reincarnation is here as well. That's killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Black Dragon, who had remained silent at the side, snickered inwardly. The white-robed man shrugged. I just wanted the injured to receive treatment as soon as possible. Coward, aren't you being a little too arrogant? To be honest, I really don't want to fight right now. But it looks like there's no other way? A cool breeze blew past, causing the sleeves of the person in the sky to flutter. The white-robed man smiled faintly and used Huang Feihong's classic move. Spiritual energy slowly leaked out in the blink of an eye. The weak spiritual energy surged towards Black Dragon and Chiu Hai like a raging river. Suffocation. It was a suffocating smell. The instant this pressure appeared, Black Dragon's eyes were filled with indescribable shock. The pressure was more than 10 times stronger than when he first entered the city. Even Chiu Hai's eyelids twitched. Even as a heavenly supreme, he felt a heart-palpitating pressure and danger. He had only felt such a feeling from the demon ancestor. Yi Zichen, be careful later. This old man's strength isn't weak. If you fight with him, I might not be able to protect you. The white-robed man's warning sounded out in Yi Zichen's sea of consciousness. Zichen nodded solemnly, then slowly backed away. They were finally going to meet. Qiu Hai squinted his eyes and laughed coldly. Pressure didn't mean everything. He would only know how strong Qiu Hai really was after they fought. The rules of the lower three realms restricted one's strength to that of a first-stage Sky Supreme. He didn't believe that he, who was also a Sky Supreme, would be at a disadvantage. Coward! Boom. With that, Qiu Hai unleashed a powerful burst of spiritual energy. A blinding purple light shone around him, and a gigantic figure of a demon holding two hammers stared at the white-robed man with purple aura in its eyes. At the same time, the white-robed man stopped holding back. An intense blue light shone around him, and a gigantic figure of a sea god holding a trident stared at the demon with blue aura in its eyes. Even a lion uses its full strength to fight a rabbit. There was no need for him to be careless and fail miserably. I'm telling you in advance, I don't have any good feelings towards the demon race. I hope you can forgive me if I go too far and kill you. The sea god behind Qiu Hai raised his trident high up, and the surrounding water's spiritual energy continuously gathered towards it. The demon behind Qiu Hai did the same. It crossed its hammers, and streaks of runes appeared on its hammers. The pressure that the white-robed man gave Qiu Hai grew stronger and stronger, and it was also wearing down his fighting spirit. Unable to endure it any longer, Qiu Hai chose to attack. What a pity! You lost. Unbeknownst to him, a man dressed like the Turtle Prime Minister shook his head and sighed in a corner outside Pool City. This demon geezer's heavenly god Dharma body is actually that of an ancient demon. He's quite a good seedling. Won't the demons be angry if he dies here? Then, he shrugged and muttered, what does that have to do with me? It's best if the demons all die. But this person should be the one that His Majesty was talking about. He's an ancient heavenly god Dharma body, and he's not even a Sky Supreme. As for this person, he should be the one His Majesty was talking about. He's the ancient deity sea god Dharma body, and his strength isn't even on the level of a heavenly supreme. Oh my God, His Majesty is making things difficult for me. At the same time, Jia Qiu Hai's image swung its hammer at the white-robed man. However, it was just as the Turtle Minister had said. At the same time, the white-robed man suddenly opened his eyes. The white-robed man suddenly opened his eyes, and the sea god behind him also straightened his finger, accompanied by the power of 10,000 caddies. It was instantly pierced through. Boom. Qiu Hai's demon figure instantly collapsed. He coughed up a mouthful of blood, and knelt in the air with a dispirited expression. He stared in shock at the increasingly dazzling sea god. How is this possible? His Dharma body was that of an ancient demon. It was a rare existence even in the demon realm. He had obtained it by chance from Black Dragon in the lower realm. He thought that it would be the turning point of his life, but why? He lost. His ancient giant devil had actually lost to this guy with a crown on his head, who was stepping on the waves, and who had scales on his arms. Impossible! Qiu Hai roared furiously with bloodshot eyes. He struggled to stand up and tried to summon his Dharma body again. Don't waste your energy. The sea god is an ancient god. Your Dharma body has been destroyed. The white-robed man slowly walked towards Qiu Hai. The white-robed man slowly walked towards Qiu Hai. At the same time, the avatar behind him gradually dissipated, but his robes gradually turned blue. A crown appeared on his head, and a trident appeared in his hand. How did you become one with the world? Do you understand now? The white-robed man smirked and raised his trident. Yes, it's just as you thought. Do you feel that your death is not unjust? No, I can't die. My grand future. Qiu Hai frantically tried to escape. The white-robed man let out a soft sigh, and the halberd in his hand pierced through Qiu Hai's back like a javelin. I told you, I don't have a good impression of demons. He died. He fell to the ground. The white-robed man's one with the world dissipated, and he glanced down at Pool City. He found me. Prime Minister Turtle swallowed a mouthful of saliva and ran away. I definitely can't complete this mission now. His Majesty didn't give me a time limit. Heh, the white-robed man smirked, then looked towards Black Dragon, who was about to escape. Chapter 688. The game begins. A cool breeze blew past. It brought a hint of coolness to the rather hot night, but Black Dragon felt as if he had fallen into an icy cavern. The white-robed man's kind invitation was not that kind. Black Dragon had wanted to play the role of a fisherman and capture Yizichin during the chaos when Chiu Hai and the white-robed man fought. Then, he would capture both of them in one fell swoop while the white-robed man and Chiu Hai were locked in a fight. It was a great dream, but reality, he. This old guy, who had been so arrogant ever since he came to the demon realm, actually died without even being able to take a single attack from his opponent. And he even boasted that no one in the lower 3 realms was his match? He could only blame himself for trusting Chiu Hai's strength too much. Even with Black Dragon's personality, he still wanted to curse, damn it. What? Are you not going to give me face? A murmur sounded out once again. To be honest, Black Dragon truly did not want to give him face, but the situation. Heaving a sigh of relief, Black Dragon turned around with a smile and raised his eyebrows. How is that possible? No matter what, I can't refuse your invitation. Then, please. The white-robed man stepped aside. Black Dragon, who was not far away, clenched his fist, then relaxed it, before slowly walking past the white-robed man nervously. Within the guest hall of the City Lord's Manor in Pool City. The hall was terrifyingly silent in the silent night. The fragrance of tea wafted out from the hall. The white-robed man sat on a chair opposite Black Dragon and took a sip of his tea. Lord Black Dragon, why aren't you moving? I'm not really interested in this, Black Dragon smiled. Black Dragon smiled faintly, but his nerves were still tense. He had no choice but to be. In a situation like this, the white-robed man sat opposite him, while the City Lord of Pool City sat beside him. As for Yizichin, who was the weakest and the one he wanted to use as a breakthrough point, he was protected by the white-robed man's spiritual energy. Black Dragon's current situation was not very good. Is that so? But from what I know, Lord Black Dragon likes this tea a lot. Don't worry, I won't do anything in the tea, the white-robed man smiled. The white-robed person pursed her lips and smiled gently. Black Dragon's expression became slightly awkward. He raised his teacup and pretended to take a sip before placing it back on the table. What would you like to talk to me about? You should know this better than me, right? The white-robed man pushed the question back to Black Dragon. Black Dragon licked his lips and shook his head. If you want to use me to threaten my subordinates, then you are gravely mistaken. Oh! A person of your level must be clear about the nature of the demon race. Our demon world has never cared about friendship. I was able to become the lord of the demon realm purely by relying on my strength to intimidate them. For so many years, my exploitation of them has made them resentful. They can't wait for me to die so that they can support a new master. So you're saying that catching you is useless? The white-robed man's expression seemed to change. Seeing this opportunity, Black Dragon hurriedly spoke. You could say that, but it's not useless. Since you've caught me, my life is in your hands. I want to discuss some conditions in exchange for my life. What conditions? Black Dragon let out a long sigh and tried to think of a way to convince the white-robed man. Hurry up, I don't have that much time to waste on you. Suddenly, the white-robed man's tone turned cold. The suffocating pressure once again filled the entire hall. Actually, the outcome you want to see is nothing more than the 3 realms remaining the 3 realms. I can promise you that when I return, I will immediately bring all the soldiers of the demon realm back to the dimensional space. I will also promise that I will not touch a single blade of grass or tree in the 3 realms for 1,000 years. 1,000 years. 10,000 years. Black Dragon immediately changed the deadline. Seeing that the white-robed man still did not look satisfied, he spoke again. I swear that I will never attack the three realms again, ever. If you don't believe me, you can immediately swear on your inner demons and let the rules prove it. Black Dragon looked at the white-robed man expectantly, but found that the white-robed man still did not look satisfied. What do you want me to do? The rise of the demon realm, the plundering of the three realms in this life-threatening situation, nothing was more important than staying alive. He had already thought it through. Worst comes to worst, he would just hole up in the dimensional space for a few more days. The Yellow Emperor's reincarnation would eventually break through to the supreme level. When that time came, he would directly ascend to the demon realm and not care about these things. And I thought you would be an ambitious person, the white-robed man sneered. A faint sneer came from the white-robed man's mouth. He slowly rose from his chair and stretched lazily in front of the Black Dragon. I'm actually quite satisfied with what you said just now, especially when you said that you would swear on your inner demons. To be honest, I'm very satisfied. Then I'll immediately. But I refuse, the white-robed man interrupted Black Dragon mercilessly. The white-robed man mercilessly cut off Black Dragon's words and chuckled. Didn't I tell you when I was fighting Chiu-Hai? I don't have a good impression of people from the demon realm. I'm actually not a demon. I'm a dragon. Yes, including the dragon race. The white-robed man's expression instantly darkened. He rubbed the corner of his clothes. I only have a good impression of a few people in the dragon race. I don't have a good impression of the others either. As for you, you are not one of them. All right, I've made myself very clear. I can only apologize to you. I really didn't think that such a big game of chess would be resolved so easily. Buzz, his white robe turned faint blue, and a faint golden trident appeared in his hand. Everyone who saw what happened just now knew that this was how he dealt with Chiu-Hai, a Sky Supreme, in a single move. Logically speaking, Black Dragon should have already felt fear. For the sake of his own life, he might even kneel on the ground and beg for mercy. However, everyone in the room noticed that he was smiling. Yes, that's right. He really is smiling. Looks like I underestimated you just now. You do have some guts. Since you're smiling, I'll give you a quick death. The white-robed man raised his trident high. Black Dragon's lips curled up as he looked at him fearlessly. Are you sure you really want to kill me? If you kill me, it seems like everything you've planned will go to waste. Recognize it. Black Dragon slowly opened his hand, revealing a jade slip that was used for communication. Looks like I really underestimated you. The white-robed man's tone turned cold. The white-robed man's tone turned cold. Black Dragon smiled and shrugged, the fear he felt just now completely gone. He stood up from his chair and pushed the white-robed man's trident away. Chapter 689. Chapter 689. Young Master Yao Great Emperor Yonghe sat on his bed and stared at the jade slip flashing with red light on top of the cabinet. The jade slip was given to him by Black Dragon to communicate with him. Even though the two of them usually wouldn't have any interactions, if he remembered correctly, red meant that the time had come. Attack. It's earlier than I expected. A cunning smile appeared on Great Emperor Yonghe's face in the dark room. He grabbed his coat that had already been taken off and put it on, then left the room with the jade slip in his hand. The night was extremely silent. Unbeknownst to him, the white-robed man's dimensional space was surging in the silent night, stirring up the night. I didn't expect the immortal region to raise so many ungrateful people. A group of experts gathered in front of a cliff that was supposed to be deserted. If anyone were to see this, they would be able to notice that something was off here because everyone present here was a reputable existence within and outside the three realms. The one who spoke just now was the sect master of the Fire Cloud Gate. He rarely came out of seclusion due to the turmoil in the three realms. His fiery red hair indicated that he had already cultivated his fire elemental internal cultivation technique to the extreme. Old Huafeng, the 5 emperors have treated you well. Didn't you come as well? The one who spoke was the sect master of the Falling Jade Pavilion. The Falling Jade Pavilion had always been at odds with the Fire Cloud Gate, so it was rather unfortunate that the two of them were able to meet here. I didn't expect to see you here, you old thing. The Fire Cloud Gate master glanced at him with a dark expression, then snorted. You better give me some face. Otherwise, I don't mind getting rid of you here. Anyone can brag. You want to get rid of me? You can try. The two old men didn't budge an inch. One could vaguely feel the sparks in their eyes. What's the matter with the two of you? Since we're here, we're all in the same boat. It's not good to start fighting among ourselves before we've dealt with the external threat. Right at this moment, an elegant young master holding a folding fan appeared between the two of them and separated them. The surrounding people were all hesitant when they saw him. They couldn't figure out who he was. After a long while, someone exclaimed under everyone's gaze. Young Master Yao, it's actually young Master Yao. The head of the Mu clan in the outer regions of the Immortal Region had 2 sons. One of them, Mu Qingtian, was born to his current wife. However, he had a sickly personality and was a famous sickly person in the outer regions. But before this, the Mu family head had a wife. His wife was from the Shao family in the outer regions of the Immortal Domain. Their family couldn't be considered a prominent family, but they couldn't be considered ordinary either. Before Patriarch Mu inherited the position of Patriarch, his wife had always been by his side. However, during the competition for the position of Patriarch, Patriarch Mu's situation was not very good. For the sake of being elected, he chose to give up on his wife back then, choosing to marry the young miss of the Immortal Domain's famous Tang family. Young Master Yao naturally followed his mother back to the clan. At the same time, he changed his surname to Shao, and the Shao clan moved to 100 Flowers City. When this matter came out, many people outside the Immortal Region felt that it was a pity. Firstly, it was a pity that only Miss Shao could be called a virtuous wife, while Miss Tang was too domineering. The master of the Mu family would not have an easy time in the future. The second one was Xiao Yao. Back then, Xiao Yao could tell that this child was extraordinary from a young age. His talent was astonishing, something rarely seen even in 10,000 years. Just like how the Mu family head could endure for 10 years, when Xiao Yao came of age, the Mu family would still be his, and in Xiao Yao's hands, it would shine even more brilliantly. If there was anyone to blame, he could only blame himself for not enduring. Now that a young genius had appeared, how could these people not be shocked? So there are still people who recognize me. What a gratifying piece of news. Xiao Yao's lips curled into a faint smile. Then he looked at the fierce-looking man in heavy armor, holding a long sword, and couldn't help but snicker. Actually, everyone here has their own reasons, but only this one. The sword-wielding man suddenly looked up, his eyes as sharp as swords, at Xiao Yao. General Zhao actually showed up? That's a little strange, isn't it? City Lord Lin treats you extremely well, so well that even I'm a little jealous. Xiao Yao's expression instantly became sinister. He narrowed his eyes, his gaze like a venomous snake's, filled with unbearable pain. Lin Shiha treats you so well, yet you want to betray her? That has nothing to do with you. Zhao Zizhao glanced at him coolly. Don't pretend to be benevolent. Aren't you from 100 Flowers City? City Lord Lin treats your Shao family just as well, yet you're still here? I came here because a friend asked me to. He offered me a bargaining chip that I couldn't help but be tempted. Then what are you blabbering on about? Zhao Zizhao replied indifferently. Xiao Yao glanced at him, shrugged, and smiled. Forget it, I don't want to waste too much time talking to a martial artist like you. I don't want to waste too much time talking to a sissy like you either. Also, let me remind you that Lin Shiha will never fall for a sissy like you. If you have the guts, say that again. Xiao Yao raised a slender finger in anger. Zhao Zizhao's words had hit him where it hurt. Xiao Yao was indeed very handsome and elegant, but he was also a little sissy. So what if I say it 10,000 times? Sissy. You're courting death. Xiao Yao's eyes instantly turned bloodshot. He drew a soft sword from his waist and pointed it at Zhao Zizhao. I'll take care of you on Shiha's behalf. I'm just afraid you don't have the ability. Zhao Zizhao also grasped his longsword. He stood proudly in front of the cliff like an unsheathed blade, his entire body filled with a murderous aura. Everyone was a little confused, especially Blazing Hua and the sect master of the Falling Jade Pavilion. Master Yao had just pulled the two of them apart. Why was he fighting now? However, no one dared to pull the two of them away. Zhao Zizhao was a famous general, while Xiao Yao was a genius who'd made a name for himself a long time ago. If the two of them wanted to fight, the surrounding people would have to weigh their own abilities even if they wanted to pull them away. It seems like the atmosphere here isn't very harmonious. Fortunately, Great Emperor Yonghe appeared between the two of them and separated them just as the two were about to fight. When the people around him saw him, they all bowed to pay their respects. Great Emperor. Yonghe faintly nodded his head as he softly chuckled. We're all here for the greater good. I don't care what personal grudges you had before, but let it go now that you're here. Once the future is decided, you can fight however you want. I definitely won't interfere. Sweeping his gaze across the crowd, the Blazing Hua sect master and the Falling Jade Pavilion sect master lowered their heads. Xiao Yao and Zhao Zizhao also snorted coldly at each other. They put away their weapons and stood to the side. Seeing this, Great Emperor Yonghe nodded his head in satisfaction. Then, he stretched his body lazily and chuckled, "Ha ha ha, you're right." Chapter 690. Qiu Hai is alive again. Pool City Governor's Mansion. When he opened the transmission jade slip, Black Dragon's face was filled with disdain. He looked at the people in the front hall with a faint smile on his face. If I'm not mistaken, your side should have already been conquered by my people. Aren't you relaxing too early? I can still take your life in an instant. When the time comes, I'll go to the dimensional space and get rid of the spy you left on my side. The white-robed man narrowed his eyes and tightened his grip on the halberd. That's true, but do you know who I left at your place? Yonghe. As expected, I can't hide it from you. The Black Dragon did not reveal any shock or panic when the white-robed man revealed the mole he had left behind. He nodded lightly, and the corners of his mouth curled up. You're right. Yonghe is indeed my spy. You can also return to the dimensional space after killing me. Even if they have already conquered your side, the dimensional space was created by you, so you are naturally invincible there. Since you know, why do you have to go through so much trouble? Not only did you expose your informant, you even lost your life. The white-robed man asked this because he really didn't understand. He didn't understand why the Black Dragon would go through so much trouble to come up with this series of tricks, and yet still be able to talk to him without fear. Something was very wrong. I didn't even want to attack your side. I just wanted to shake the morale of your alliance. Black Dragon clasped his hands behind his back as he gazed at the gradually brightening skyline. I don't know what methods you used to unite the entire three realms, but I have no choice but to admire your skill. I, Black Dragon, am proud but not arrogant. Although the demon world soldiers are elite, against the entire three realms, I cannot deny that my chances of victory are less than 50%. 50%? You are indeed arrogant. The white-robed man snorted. 50% for sure, but I won't tell you why. Black Dragon looked at him seriously, raised his eyebrows and said, but 50% is still too low for me. I need a higher success rate, and the way to increase the success rate is to destroy your alliance from the inside. The reason you united the three realms is because you have the confidence to deal with my demon realm. So the best way to make them lose confidence in you is to make a move on your home base. If they can't even defend their homes, how can they go out to fight the enemy? Don't you think so? Black Dragon, who was looking at the horizon, slowly turned around, his face filled with confidence and pride. To be honest, the white-robed man, who had planned everything, really didn't think of this move. But now that things had come to this, the best way to salvage the situation was to kill the commander of the devil race. Obliterate. To be able to become the commander of the demon race. He is indeed outstanding. Previously, when you said that you won this position purely by relying on your own strength, you were being too modest. A faint glow appeared on the halberd. Streams of spiritual energy flowed out of the halberd. The gravel outside the door began to tremble irregularly. You flatter me. Black Dragon cupped his hands with a faint smile. But you still can't escape death. The halberd instantly flew out of Black Dragon's hands. He calmly crossed his arms and chuckled. That might not be the case. Before he finished his sentence, a giant hammer was thrown out, causing the halberd to deviate from its original trajectory. When he looked outside, he saw that Chiu Hai, who had been stabbed to death by the white-robed man's halberd, had come back to life. The ancient demon behind him had condensed once more, and it was even purer than before. Senior Chiu Hai, you're finally awake. A hint of panic finally appeared on Black Dragon's calm face, and he hurriedly ran to Chiu Hai's side. I was 15 minutes late. I was really worried that you wouldn't wake up. You should be hoping that I wouldn't wake up, right? Chiu Hai's old and turbid eyes glowed. Black Dragon's expression froze before he smiled. How could that be? You know best what you're thinking. Do I even need to say anything else? You would have run away a long time ago if you weren't captured, right? Would you still be here to buy time for me? Chiu Hai's eyes glowed as he smiled. He was actually in a fake death state just now. It was very simple why the white-robed man didn't notice him. When he discovered the demon Dharma body, there was a secret tome nearby. It was about the advancement of the demon Dharma body. The prerequisite was to be fatally injured and die once in order to reach greater mastery. His fake death was actually considered real death, but there was still a strand of his life body left in his body. In a situation like that, no one would be able to tell that he was faking his death. Senior, what are you saying? Black Dragon replied with a dry smile, but he couldn't help but think in his heart. He couldn't help but think to himself, you really are right. If I wasn't captured, I wouldn't even bother with you. I didn't think that you actually made the right bet and actually came back to life. But it's good that you're alive. If you're not alive, no one would be able to deal with that white-robed guy. Ha, whatever. I don't have time to deal with you. Go do what you need to do. There's still a wild monkey waiting for me to take care of. Then, Chiu Hai's silver hair fluttered as he glared at the white-robed man. How did he come back to life? Yi Zichen looked at the old man in the sky in shock. He had personally seen the old man get stabbed to death by the white-robed man's halberd. F***ck, he actually came back to life again. He should have used some sort of secret technique that I don't know about. That's right, since he was able to find the demon Dharma body, he might have obtained the fortune left behind by a certain powerhouse. I truly didn't expect it this time, and got tricked by them. The white-robed man squinted his eyes and said sullenly, Yi Zichen, leave with City Lord Chiu first. Hurry up and go over to the subdimension to take a look. Since Black Dragon was so confident that they could take down that place, then Yonghe definitely wasn't the only traitor. Hurry up and go back. We must stop them. Black Dragon's words made sense. If the main camp was taken down, then it would definitely shake the trust of the Grand Alliance of the Three Realms. When that happens, then the Grand Alliance of the Three Realms would truly fall apart due to some people with ulterior motives. Then Yi Zichen frowned and looked at the old man. The old man seems to be a lot stronger than before after coming back to life. Of course I'm going to stay here. Can't you see that the old man has already locked onto me? The white-robed man smiled. But don't worry about me. I can kill this old man once, so I can kill him a second time. Hurry up and leave. That side is more important. Tisk, who's worried about you? I can't be bothered with you. The white-robed man twitched his mouth. Then, City Lord Chiu and Yi Zichen flew out of the City Lord's manor. However, before they could get far, they saw a black dragon rub his lips and smile towards them.